worried because I was getting goosebumps with it. So I called the triage line. Well, you need to come in. What? So I by the time the night was done, my rationing's completely gone. I never felt badly. I sent a long email to the doctor's nurse practitioner or PA or whatever the hell she is, and physician's assistant. That's what she is. And I said, basically, I'm not coming. Please advise. But here's pictures. Here's what's going on. I have labs today here. I don't see why driving 6 hours is going to help this. I don't need the answer every time I call them to drive 6 hours. That's we can do better.
Yeah. That's their emergency fallback. It's not yours.
Well, and then she said they can't prescribe anything without seeing me. They've already prescribed something for this. She should have looked in the damn chart. The more I thought about it, the more pissed I got. But it's like, I want to do, I'm obviously want to take care of myself first, but it's like, come on now.
Hey, now. It's like the 2 times they called me in a panic. You just come in here right now. I said, no, I'll see you in the morning. You could die. I don't think so. I think I can make it till 10:30 a.m. Morning, everybody.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday. Hope your week got off to a good start, and thanks so much for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. We have one series in basketball. Looks like the one in hockey is done. The second round has been a little anticlimactic in the sport of hockey because I'm not into Ducks and Knights, and that appears to be the best series unless Buffalo can make something happen tonight. But Colorado dominates last night. The score was close, but Colorado was just dominating. Carolina's already disposed of Philadelphia. We need Buffalo to make something happen. Now in hoops, we got a couple 2-2s. Don't have a couple trees yet, but we got a couple 2-2s.
We do. Nothing wrong with a couple 2-2s.
No, nothing wrong with a couple of 2-2s. Or a couple of 2-2s. Any way you want to look at it, just depends on who's wearing it. And David, the Rays may never lose again.
I'm telling you. By Memorial Day, we're going to be putting a letter next to them. It may just be have clinched a playoff spot, but that's okay. You know, what is that, the X or a Y? I always forget which one's playoff spot, which one's division.
I'm telling you right now, the text line's about to blow up. The chat rooms, the couple of diehard Rays fans in there, they're going to get angry with you. You're because you put a letter next to the Tigers for winning the division last year around this time.
Well, I thought I waited a little longer. I thought it was one of the months with a J, but there's no doubt. No. You're right. You're right. I made the absurd assumption that with a 15.5 game lead, okay, that they'd win the division. But au contraire, mon frere. Didn't happen.
And I don't mean to make this pick on David early today, but right after the show yesterday, I received a text. And for those of you that don't get the Pro Hour, it was during the Pro Hour that from 9 to 10 aired in Tampa and Jacksonville, the two pro towns, hence the Pro Hour. We got the scoop, was released by NBC, that the first Sunday night football game was going to be the Cowboys and the Giants because we can't get enough of the Cowboys and Giants week 1.
Just can't. America's clamoring for it.
And you, sir, presented a stat, not necessarily backing up the truck, but certainly with your hand on the gear shifter, sliding it towards reverse, as to say, the Cowboys are going to win this game. They always beat the Giants. And hell, they always cover against the Giants. And the text I received said, doesn't John Harbaugh have a fantastic week 1 record? And I said, I better check. He says, or am I getting that confused with his preseason record? And remember, if you are a degenerate gambler, the Giants in preseason may be a good play. Just throwing that out there to you.
Remember, they went, 6 years in a row he didn't lose a preseason game at Baltimore? All right, they finally lost on a Monday night 2 years ago at Washington.
But, David, do you know what John Harbaugh's week 1 record is? You know, the new coach of the New York Football Giants.
You mean in Baltimore? No, I don't, Mark. Go ahead.
You can do that all you want, but hype is high in New York, and you are just poo-pooing me off the hop. 11-4. 11-4.
That's good. That's really good.
And he just followed. My buddy said, may want to back up the slug bug and not the truck. That's all I'm saying.
For the record, the stat that I gave yesterday is that the Cowboys and Giants have played the season opener 12 previous times. The Cowboys are 11-1.
But this is a new era of Giants.
Yep.
It is the John Harbaugh era.
Yeah.
11-4 week 1.
Yeah. Right. I'm just trying to rein it in a little bit on the Giants hype. That's all. Do I think they will be better? Oh, yeah. I think they'll be twice as good this year. I think there's a chance that the Giants are the team that goes from like 4 to 10 in terms of wins. I mean, hell, they blew 5 double-digit fourth-quarter leads last year. I mean, I don't think it would have taken much for last year's team to win 8-9 games. And it could be, Mark. I mean, goodness knows, outside of the Eagles, the other 3 teams in that division are very much up in the air, loaded with potential and loaded with obvious pitfalls. So one of them could be an 11-plus win team. And they could all go be somewhere between 8-9 and 6-11 too.
We got our second schedule leak later in the day yesterday. The Bills will open their new digs week 2 Thursday night football against the Detroit Lions. It's a reasonably sexy game for a Thursday night early.
I agree. I thought we at Monday Night Football might get the Bills stadium opener on the first Monday night of the season. We're just kicking around and saying they'll put that game in prime time. Okay, is it Sunday? Is it Monday? Is it whenever it is they're going to give the Bills that first home game, they're going to put that sucker in prime time. And they did for Amazon's first Thursday broadcast.
Right. So, couple of games leaked. We'll get a couple of more today probably, because this is what they do. And you all sop it up with a biscuit. You can't get enough. We already know all of the opponents. We just don't know when. And then collectively as a nation with our favorite team, we all play the schedule game. That could be a poll question. Do you play the schedule game immediately after your team's schedule comes out? And be honest. Do you go through it and say, all right, I'm seeing somewhere between 7 and 10 and 10 and 7. I mean, got a 3-game homestand here. Got to get 2 or 3. Because you can look at it with your opponents, but it doesn't happen, at least to me, properly until you see the order.
Well, I know on this Friday, when the schedule comes out Thursday night at 8, I know on our show Friday, we'll do the schedule game with the 3 Florida teams.
Damn right we will. Damn right. Wake up, everybody.
Somebody's got a couple of new toys.
Well, and I'm still working on them. Don't you worry. If there were more things to put on there, and there are, I've just got to. I get nervous because I believe, and I probably need to do a little more digging because the show's on YouTube and it's on Twitch, and we want it to stay there forever. If we put, I guess, copyrighted material up, I don't know how much we can get away with. I thought it was like I didn't get a message by putting that brief Dazed and Confused clip. It was 6 seconds.
Yeah, isn't it 7?
I thought, 7 words you can't say on TV on the anniversary of George Carlin's birthday, 7 seconds of copyright material.
Right, and you snuck it in.
Right.
And the YouTube police was angry too because they caught it and they said, we're going to get him. And then they went, blank. He came in under.
You think computers have that kind of emotion? I mean, that's the scary part. People think that with this whole AI thing, that now that they're thinking for themselves, do they have emotion? See, I thought they just move on. You're giving them emotion. That makes me a little nervous, David.
Well, I just figured there was a room full of people who were helping the AI police. That's all, pressing buttons and for them, fact checking, being the AI's editors. I figured AI had editors. That's all. And, those folks are stuck in a room all day. I don't know how many windows they have loaded up on Starbucks. I mean, that's where I figure the emotion is coming from the editors.
Well, interesting take. I like that you have. I like that you're keeping the workforce employed.
I'm trying. I'm trying to keep some people employed
because there won't be many left.
Oh my goodness!
Congratulations to the Cleveland Guardians last night with the win. The number is 4. Everyone.
Yes.
4 American League teams with a winning record.
And here come my Mariners to make it 5 by Memorial Day. That's what I need. My number's 5.
That is, I think that's gutsy, David. That means that the Athletics and Guardians will continue their somewhat winning ways. And that is not a guarantee.
Not at all. That's a gamble on my part. Would have been smarter to go under based on the first 40 games of this season, but I'm feeling as if some of these teams in the American League got to show a pulse. I know they had one. At least I thought they did in March. What's going on? Meanwhile, 10 minutes have gone by, and that means the Rays have won again. Unbelievable, this team.
Did it with the bats last night. They produced some runs.
Yeah. Pitchers looked at the hitters and said, we're tired. We're carrying your ass. Okay. Can you just, one night help us out? And they went, yeah, sure. Thanks for letting us know. What they score? 5 runs in the first 2 innings?
And they haven't done much of that during this long run of wins. I mean, what do they have? 2 losses in their last 17 games now. And there have been a lot of them, a lot of 3-1s in there. They have done this with great pitching, but last night the bats got hot against the Jays, and with the Yanks losing in Baltimore, much to the surprise of Miller and Moulton, the Rays have opened up a 2-game lead, baby.
Unbelievable. By the end of the week, we'll be talking magic numbers. Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Why? Say something. Ah, that away. That seems so happy. Well, that's no fun, Jay. But I won't. Oh no, Jay, I use all of the unlicensed music for all of our rejoins. I just played a 6-second clip the other day from Dazed and Confused. I do not ever play music, Jay. Ever. I know better than that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday morning. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan will join us later on in the show. Pat's only appearance of the week. He's got to travel on Friday. So when the schedules come out Thursday night, we'll kick him around with someone else on Friday. So I saw that Craig Morton had passed. And Craig Morton, the first quarterback to start a Super Bowl with two different teams in NFL history. I'm doing this off the top of my head, Mark, but what? Kurt Warner, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady? Anybody else start a Super Bowl with two different teams?
I don't believe so.
But Morton did it first. He started a Super Bowl V with the Cowboys. The crazy turnover-laden game that they lost on a last-second field goal to the Colts. And there's the famous shot of Bob Lilly throwing his helmet about 30 yards at the end of the game at the Orange Bowl. In disgust. He was the backup the next year when the Cowboys beat the Dolphins in Super Bowl VI, but Staubach was the starter. And then he gets traded to the Giants for a first-round pick. Cowboys used that pick to draft some guy named Randy White, by the way. It didn't work out well for Craig in New York at all. It lasted like 2 years, and they were done with him. He goes to Denver, takes him to the Super Bowl with the Orange Crush defense, where they faced the Cowboys, ironically. And Mark, Craig Morton is probably, unfortunately, goes down as the worst Super Bowl quarterback of all time. 2 starts, 7 interceptions. 1 touchdown, threw for about 160-something yards total in the 2 starts.
Well, I remember barely the Orange Crush Super Bowl. It's probably one of the early Super Bowls in my memory. For whatever reason, I liked the orange. I liked the whole Orange Crush thing. I was rooting for Denver. By the end of the first quarter, there wasn't much left to root for.
No, you knew it was going to be a long day.
They got destroyed. So I remember that game being over by halftime, and I don't remember the final score. I'm sure you have it, but that's one of my early Super Bowl memories.
27-10 was the final. That's the highlight, if you've ever seen it, where I think it was Butch Johnson, number 86 for the Cowboys. They rule it a catch. You know how much controversy we've had in the last 15 years? What's a catch? What's not a catch? Staubach throws a bomb. He's double covered. He dives for it. Okay. He puts, he's got it. He hits the ground at the goal line. The ball pops out. The official rules it a touchdown. I mean, there's no way it'd be a touchdown today. Not even close. There's a picture of the Browns safety just pointing at the ball. Like, what are you talking about? It's a catch. Ball's right there on the ground. But anyway, I think it was Harvey Martin and Randy White who shared MVP. That's how dominant the Cowboys defense was. They divvied it up amongst 2 of them.
When they actually gave the award to someone other than a quarterback.
Right. But we had Vern Lundquist on a few times on this show, and Vern told the story in which one of his greatest coups, and I don't know if it was the Friday night before the game or the night before the game, but he's working for a Dallas station, Vern is, and he's doing a live 1-hour show the night before the game. And he gets Staubach to agree to come down from his hotel room and pop on the show, but he snuck Craig Morton in from the Broncos hotel through the kitchen, okay, and snuck him in. And there he is with Staubach and Morton on a 1-hour local show back to Dallas, either the Friday or Saturday night before the Super Bowl. And Mark and I just shook our heads going, can you imagine trying to pull that off today?
Well, not only can you imagine it, you can't even imagine it, David. I mean, it's now what, 20, I mean, how long has it been? 15 years since obviously since you and I had Stafford and Malone. When Mark Malone, we had Matthew Stafford, and then we were getting Malone next, and he sat down and he's sitting there on Radio Row, and we're interviewing the guy who's probably going to be the first overall pick. And we're like, put some headphones on Malone. And I think David just said, what advice would you give him coming into this? And all of a sudden, we've got a good 10, 15 cameras and a good crowd of people hovered over, this little Fort Myers radio station because we had good timing.
Yep.
And a good guest and another former first-round pick and quarterback in the league, and they're talking ball. These are the 2 starting quarterbacks of the Super Bowl,
right?
Within, at bare minimum, 30-some-odd hours before kick. So it's basically impossible to fathom, David. In fact, it's even more than that. The 2 starting quarterbacks, I don't know if they get in the same room the entire week. They do the media day or the team day, but it's team A comes on for their 60, 90 minutes, whatever the hell it is, and then the next team comes on.
Right.
They're not even out there at the same time. You couldn't get a photo with the two of them together the week of the Super Bowl, let alone an hour interview.
So, Craig Morton, historical footnote, though, the first quarterback to start for two teams in the Super Bowl. Warner, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady obviously have done it since. How about this? So who do we think will be the next one?
I'm not going to bet on Aaron Rodgers. Okay?
I'm losing. I'm telling you, from Pittsburgh, I'm really losing my sense of humor about this. What's the big deal? Are you playing or not? Like, you really don't know. And by the way, if you really don't know, we're moving on. I got mini camp next week. Your ass better be here. Golly.
Well, wouldn't this, right at this moment in time, wouldn't the best bet be Jared Goff?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm trying to, think of guys that have started for teams.
Yeah.
One, he's already started in one. Okay. So
Exactly.
he's got the leg up on a lot of guys.
Uh-huh.
And he's
Yep.
playing for another team that people think is a good football team.
Right.
So if the odds were on the Hard Rock app or in Vegas, or you could bet one of the prediction markets on this particular bet, Goff's odds would be better than Rodgers' odds. One, he's going to play longer. And two, I believe most people think Detroit's better than Pittsburgh right now.
No, I like that because he's already on another team. See, you start going through the other list of quarterbacks, they're still on the team that they took to the Super Bowl. They haven't been
Right
moved yet. So, no, I like that one. That's got to be where you put your money.
I mean, Rodgers and Goff both have the one under their belt. They would need to get another. They are both with other teams. One's year to year, if not day to day. The other one's in the middle of a contract. So I would put my money on Jared Goff first.
I like it.
Miller and Moulton, Pat Kirwan to join us at 8 o'clock. The starting five, that's next.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So if we go back, you got Russ that started in games of just guys that are still playing.
Right. You kind of put Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson to the side, don't you?
Right.
I got Mahomes, Burrow, May in the AFC, Darnold, Hurts, Purdy in the NFC.
Okay, that's what I was I just wanted to make sure Purdy started the 2020 game.
No, Purdy didn't. That was actually Garoppolo.
I thought it was Garoppolo's.
But Purdy started the overtime game in Vegas, the rematch.
Okay, but so you got Garoppolo, Purdy, Stafford, Goff, and that guy in Philadelphia there,
Jalen Hurts,
and Darnold, and then you got May, Mahomes, Burrow.
Well, and I think you put Garoppolo, Wilson, and Rodgers all to the side. Russ is thinking of retiring. Garoppolo's talking about retiring, and Aaron Rodgers may be retired. So
right, I think you put the first two there before AR because I think he's playing. But I mean, it just
all right. Okay.
So a fun poll question would it be? Not on that, David. I'm being a little sneakier.
Okay.
You take Hurts, you take Mahomes, you take Burrow, and I don't know who you wanted. You want to pick Darnold, you want to pick which of these guys do you think will play for another team? I'm not even saying start another Super Bowl. Which is the most likely to finish their career with a different team?
I would say Hurts.
Empire, I want you to know for the record, if you are in the chat room, David said that, not me. Okay, I'm just saying. And I think I'm with Tretherian. I think Burrow. I think Burrow at some point will have enough of Cincinnati. But I mean, could you see Mahomes pulling a Brady at some point? Just saying, they're not good anymore. It's time to go.
Well, it'll be interesting life after Andy Reid.
Right.
Whenever that day comes, because I don't know that Andy's going to walk away.
Empire, we were just talking about you. Your ears were ringing if you just clicked in. Because Craig Morton died. He started a Super Bowl for two teams. There are 4 guys that have done that. We listed Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, and you picked the 4th one of current quarterbacks who have started a Super Bowl with one team who will be the most likely to start it with another team. And David, not me, picked Jalen Hurts. I mean, the irony there, Bama and Oklahoma, and then 2 Super Bowl teams, that would be crazy.
Right.
I mean,
you're right, though. I mean, the only other guy who's played for another team who's started a Super Bowl besides Goff is Darnold. All these other guys are on their original teams.
correct. Wentz did get hurt, and Foles, come on now. Let's you and David and Foles.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. A little over an hour away. Pat Kirwan joins us here on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X.
Boy, had David thinking during that break.
Yeah, early. I had to get all the wires tied. No loose ends at this hour. That's, whew. But, you know.
The Craig Morton passing, first to start a Super Bowl for two different teams. 3 have done it since. Who will be the next quarterback? But what I threw at David during the break is guys that are still with their original team. Guys that have played for and or won a Super Bowl. Who's the most likely to play for another team? And we threw out Mahomes, and we threw out Burrow. We threw out Jalen Hurts. And that's eventually where David Moulton leaned.
But if you think we got like 7, 8 guys who have been to a Super Bowl with one team, but they haven't even played for another team yet. Whereas, as Mark pointed out, you got Jared Goff out there in Detroit. He came within about a quarter of playing for 2 different teams in the Super Bowl already. Because he started the one with the Rams. So don't you have to put your money? Certainly in the next few years, you got to put your money on Goff. If it's going to happen in the 2020s, it looks like it's going to be Jared Goff, right?
It's Goff or Rodgers, and I think we would all bet on Goff. Because Rodgers, if he plays this year, you think it's going to be his last. At least with Goff, you think you're going to get the rest of the decade. And that the Lions should be competitive
right
for the rest of the decade. Key there is should be, everybody.
Exactly. 20 minutes before the hour. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
And we'll start with the NFL. As we let you know at this time yesterday, it's schedule week. You'll have coordinated leaks throughout the week until the NFL schedule show, 8 o'clock Thursday night, NFL Network, ESPN2. ESPN2. So NBC on the Today Show yesterday let us know that their first Sunday night football game is going to be Dallas at the Giants. It'll be the 13th time those two teams have opened the season against one another. Dinner time yesterday, Amazon sent out a post that said that their first Thursday night game, the first game of week 2, is going to be an historic night in Buffalo. It'll be the debut of their new stadium, and the Bills will be hosting Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions.
On the way to a Super Bowl. Sorry.
For which one?
Both. How about that?
Look at that.
First to 2.
Fox made a couple of scheduling announcements yesterday. Fox let us know that their Thanksgiving game, their 4:30 Eastern game, is Eagles at Cowboys.
No one will watch that.
No
one.
Only the highest rated game every year. Thanksgiving at 4:30 Eastern. Fox also announced they have purchased 2 additional games. By the way, it's very interesting. Originally, the announcement was Netflix and YouTube were going to split these 5 additional games that were available. Okay, YouTube apparently said, we're not doing anything with Netflix. No, you're either doing it with us or you're doing it with them. Interesting. So anyway, Fox announced they've purchased 2 games. One of them's going to be the Week 10 game in Germany, which means Fox will have their first ever NFL triple header because they'll go 9:30 in the morning, 1 and 4 o'clock games. And then Fox announced they'll have a Saturday game Week 15, which I think is the Saturday before Christmas. The first time that the NFL's allowed to play on Saturdays in the month of December. So there you go. One other NFL note, the Steelers extended the contract of their kicker, Chris Boswell. He's good. They like him. 4 years, $28 million extension. All right. Let's talk hockey. Colorado went into St. Paul, and they played a terrific road playoff game. Even though it was 1-1 after 2 and 2-2 mid-third, the Avs got a goal from Porter Kelly midway through the third, then added 2 late empty netters. The finals 5-2. Colorado's up 3-1 in the series.
It was much like that Tampa Bay Montreal game, though. I mean, what did the Wild have less than 10 shots through 2 periods? I mean,
Right.
At one point, the shots were 20-4 in favor of Colorado. The Wild scored very early in the game, and Colorado seemingly dominated the next 30 minutes.
But for those of us that watched that Lightning Canadiens game when it's 1-1 and 2-2 and it's mid-third and you're thinking, wow, are the Wild going to ham and egg this one and come out of here with a W? But the Avs did, and they're up 3-1. And many feel the winner of this series is going to go play in the Stanley Cup final. Buffalo, Montreal, game 4 tonight north of the border.
Let's go, Buffalo.
Sabres have been outscored 11-3 in the last 2 games. Montreal has found a gear that Buffalo does not have yet. Can the Sabres, A, slow the Canadians down, or B, find a higher gear? 7 o'clock tonight, ESPN. Meanwhile, game 5 of a series that's really good that no one's watching. Anaheim and Vegas. Game 5 in Vegas, series tied at 2.
Games have been close. Games have been competitive. Games have been physical. And you're right, no one cares.
And no one's won 2 in a row. Anaheim won game 4. Game 5 tonight, 9:30 ESPN. NBA. Pistons had the lead at the half. And then the Cavs went nuts in the third quarter. They went on a 22-0 run.
Yeah, scored the last 2 of the first half and the first 22 of the second half.
They outscored Detroit 38-21 in the third quarter. Took a 13-point lead to the fourth and held on 112-103. Donovan Mitchell at 43, but he had 39 of them in the second half. That tied an NBA record for most points in a half in a playoff game. Series tied at 2, Detroit and Cleveland. Game 5 will be in Motown. Oklahoma City, as expected, swept the Lakers, although this one was close throughout. Game was tied in the final minute. SGA with 35, 115-110, your final. OKC's going to have some time off because the Minnesota-San Antonio series is, 2-2. Oh, by the way, game 5 is tonight. Wemby not suspended. He'll play. Spurs are a 10.5-point favorite at home. That seems a little large, doesn't it?
Well, considering they lost one at home and won the other one by, 30 or whatever it was. I don't know how you – I mean, I think this is tough to put a line on, if you know what I mean.
8 o'clock on NBC. T-Wolves and Spurs tonight. Couple other NBA notes. Milwaukee has said, we are going to resolve this Giannis thing by the draft, one way or the other. Either he signs a long-term big money extension with us and he retires a buck, or we're going to trade him. So they're entertaining the trade offers now because they say they want this done before the draft, which is late June. Oh, by the way, quietly over the weekend, we didn't talk about it yesterday, so that's why I'm mentioning it today. Steve Kerr re-signed. His contract was up. Thought was he might move on, but it looks like him and Steph are going to go out together. Steph has 2 years left on his contract. Steve Kerr signed a 2-year extension. He's reportedly the highest paid coach in the league at over $17 million. Baseball, only 6
A lot of money
games.
to get into the play-in game.
3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Right. Since winning that 4th title.
right.
Baseball, only 6 games yesterday. But the Rays were playing, so that means they were winning. They've won 15 out of 17.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it really is. Jonathan Aranda with a homer and 3 RBIs. Alaccio with 3 hits, 3 RBIs. 8-5 Rays over the Jays, north of the border. Yankees had a 2-0 lead going to the 7th. Ryan Weathers has a no-hitter. Gets the first out in the 7th. He walks somebody, and then he gives up a hit. So Boone goes to the bullpen. And Colby Mayo hits a 3-run homer for the Orioles. Baltimore hands the Yankees their 4th straight loss, 3-2. Hey, the Guardians are over 500, leading the Central. They beat the Angels 7-2. Arizona held Texas to 4 hits in Texas. Diamondbacks get to 500 with the 1-0 win. Boy, the Mariners own the Astros. They won 8 straight against Houston. Won last night in Houston, 3-1. And Mark, remember when we said yesterday, you know what the San Francisco Giants need? They need a series against a team that they hate, and they'd play for free. And maybe that'll snap them out of it. They scored 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 9th against the Dodgers last night and beat them 9-3 in L.A. We mentioned Craig Morton's passing. Took the Cowboys and the Broncos to the Super Bowl. First guy to take 2 different teams and start in the Super Bowl. Craig started at Cal and passed away at the age of 83. And a story that is really significant, and I don't know how much traction it's going to get. An independent arbitrator upheld the ruling by the College Sports Commission, denying the NIL deals of 18 Nebraska football players that are worth millions of dollars. The CSC had originally said, these aren't legitimate NIL deals. These are pay for play. And an independent arbiter upheld their decision. So now what's going to happen to those 18 football players at Nebraska?
Well, they'll go to another school where they actually can get paid to play. You know, like Miami, any of the SEC schools, Ohio State. I mean, come on. This is a joke.
Are they allowed to? No. I'm being serious.
Not this year.
Well, that's just it.
This year, if they're seniors, they're done. They'll have to sue and get another year of eligibility, David, because they were denied NIL money.
Well, that's just
I
it.
don't know how this was upheld. I don't. Are we going to go after every school?
Well,
how does Nebraska, David, Nebraska?
I know.
Come on.
Mark, I agree. Mark,
This
remember,
is North Carolina paying a basketball player and Cleveland State getting put on probation. What the hell is this?
Mark, remember, only Iowa athletes were gambling on college and pro sports.
Right, and Will Greer was the only player using performance-enhancing drugs in college football history.
There you have it.
I'm sorry.
There you have it.
You're right. I apologize.
And only the Florida State indoor track team should have a natty taken away from them because of some impropriety with an online course. I mean, it's very selective, Mark, very selective over the years. But these kids are not in the portal. The window's closed. Right now, they're making bupkis. What do they do? And 7 minutes before the hour. That was the starting five big stories you need to know about here on Miller and Moulton.
So there. I don't even know what to say about that. You're right that it's a big story. What I don't know, you're right. How much traction it gets, I don't think it'll get hardly any. Because most everyone's on the side of these guys not getting what they're getting. And are any other schools going to be brought up in this?
I don't believe so. I don't know that the CSC has said that of any other school and any other deal they have with the players.
The CSC seems to be a little bit of BS.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com, capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I guess according to this arbiter, the biggest thing in this story is that the company that Nebraska, I guess, set up or is set up, they said it doesn't have a valid business purpose because they do not include goods or services offered to the general public for profit.
Right.
That,
Therefore,
that,
right. What are the kids getting NIL for? Right.
but the other schools don't think this is a precedent because of that part of it, just for what it's worth.
But Paul, think about it. So they set up the CSC, by the way, is I think the group that monitors the 21 million that everybody gets, not the extra money. And so think about it. When it was set up, if they rule, there has to be a way to appeal. So that's why they set up an independent arbiter. Well, actually, they didn't set up an independent arbiter. They, both sides have to agree as to, who the third party is going to be to decide this. Pius, also teams are holding back a little bit now because you can carry over money from one year to another.
And there still are free agents out there.
Also, teams haven't signed most of their draft picks. So
that's where those two things are where the money goes.
Remember, they have to spend the floor, and the floor is like 85 or 90%.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday. We thank you for being with us. Pat Kirwan will join us 1 hour from now to talk all things NFL, including the slow leaking of schedule details. Another one will come out this morning. It'll be either CBS or ABC, ESPN, because they usually make sure they have a coordinated. I mean, the segment's produced and everything. It's not like it's a surprise, okay, on their morning show. So yesterday it was the Today Show and NBC. Today it'll be either CBS or ABC.
You know, with the way quarterbacks get injured, David, we're talking about Craig Morton, who passed away, started for 2 different teams in the Super Bowl, and then we've had 3 since then. And who will be the next? And my money's on Jared Goff, but we threw out, you said you got to put Russ and Aaron Rodgers to the side. You did leave out one old guy name on that list that was brought up on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line.
Are you going to go Joe Flacco?
I'm not going Joe Flacco. The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line went Joe Flacco. And I simply replied with, he's got a hell of a better shot than Russ, okay?
Where did Joe agree to be a backup again this year?
Bengals.
Wouldn't that be something? Could he be Nick Foles in disguise?
Well, I mean, look at if you put them in the same situation as Denver from a year ago,
Right?
and their quarterback goes down, and they had no shot.
Well, first off, if Joe Flacco was Denver's backup last year, they would have gone to the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making, David.
Listen, you and I have been pounding the table for backup quarterbacks. Don't skimp on them. Sign them. Give them. So what? Give them a couple million more than the going rate. Give them an extra year than what anybody else would give them. Invest in the position. It's important.
It is amazing to me the guys that played that position that I think you'd have no clue of. And I only know this when I do Today Was the Day When. I've got a couple of websites that I go to get all of the information, but I never want to miss the birthday of a current player. So I go to 4 different websites, one for football, basketball, baseball, and hockey to make sure, because the website that I use is not very good with current athletes. And so none of you will really know who this guy is. David will, because he knows everybody. But I happened to see a former Michigan State quarterback on the pro football site, Drew Stanton. And I'm like, he played in the league for that long? He started one game. He threw 240 passes in his career and mop-up duty or whatever. But he played in the league for 9 or 10 years. I had no idea that he played that long. I was miffed.
Listen, I was miffed the other day when I saw that Taylor Heineke retired. I'm like,
How?
retired? If you were the backup in Denver, they would have gone to the Super Bowl last year. What do you mean you've been out of the league for over a year?
But it shows you what Pat talked about. If you recall last week, Pat talked about when you asked about Heineke, certain coordinators have their guys, and they're essentially just another coach almost at that point. They see the game, they break down film, whatever the case may be, that quarterback coach or that old coordinator, and probably the quarterback coach more than anyone, has a relationship with that player. And it just amazed me, David, how long some of these guys are able to hang around and never really see the field. And I don't know if in some of these cases they were the third guy, for a couple of years here, second guy here, but it is baffling to me just how long some of these guys hang around. And you're right, Heineke retiring, there are really 64 better guys out there. And I'm talking about second and thirds, and maybe he doesn't want to be a third, and money-wise it might not work, but there's 32 better backups than him.
He's only 33 years old. He wasn't even employed last year. That just seems, I don't know, strange to me. But this is a hell of a little thing. You see Craig Morton's passing, and you don't think much of it. And then you see he was the first quarterback to start a Super Bowl for 2 different teams. So then, of course, you start thinking about, well, who else did that? And I believe, we haven't looked it up, but trust me, our audience lets us know very quickly. We believe there's 3 others: Kurt Warner, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Now, remember, Morton started a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. It's not who won a Super Bowl with 2 different teams, because only Peyton and Tom have done that. But there's 4. And we just wondered aloud, so who will be the 5th? What do we got? We got, if you're counting active, you got to count Flacco. Garoppolo hasn't retired technically. You got to count Russ, who hasn't retired technically. You got to count Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't retired technically.
Wait a minute. Are we missing one? Who started for New England when they got whooped by the Bears? Plunkett wasn't there then, was he?
That was Tony Eason.
That's Tony Eason. Okay, that's what I thought. Just double checking.
Yeah, no. Plunkett started with the Patriots, won Rookie of the Year, then got released and went to the Raiders. Okay, so, Plunkett's Super Bowls were all with the Raiders. He didn't take New England to a Super Bowl. No. The three quarterbacks who have started Super Bowls not named Brady are Tony Eason, Drew Bledsoe, and Drake May for New England.
Just making sure that's the only.
Oh, no, I know.
That popped in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute.
You start thinking about the quarterbacks that have come close. I mean,
Montana came close.
Montana took the Chiefs to an AFC championship game. Favre, overtime, and they were the better team that day for the Vikings. Sorry to bring it up, Vikings fans.
And Packers fans. It still bothers you that he played for him. Don't kid yourself. It does. You're fine with Rodgers playing somewhere else. You weren't nearly as happy about doing it.
No, well, and a year later, he's with the Vikings. The Vikings!
Right.
It's like spitting in their eye. But
so I put my money on Jared Goff before I would put it on Rodgers, because even if Rodgers plays, I don't like the Steelers' chances. But then I asked David, what guys that have started Super Bowls could you see doing it with another team? Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Darnold. I mean, Drake May's just getting started.
How about Purdy?
That's interesting.
Because first off, you have to envision these guys no longer with their current clubs. I mean, so start by asking the question, which one of these Super Bowl quarterbacks are going to go play somewhere else first? I mean, Darnold's already played, 3 other places in Seattle? He's only got 2 years left on his contract. I mean, could it be Darnold?
Yes, it could. I mean, Drake May's just getting started. I'm just saying from the age standpoint, he's got the longest career we think ahead of him.
Okay, but you got to figure that he gets a second contract with them and they don't bail on him until, at worst, midway through the second contract. So, I think Drake May's probably got 6 more years left in New England, even if he's just above average.
I agree. And it's unthinkable that Mahomes would play somewhere else. But as you brought up earlier, when Andy Reid retires,
it's, everything's up in the air. Plus, he's never played on a loser. Like last year, take that out, he got hurt. Okay, but I'm talking about, when you're showing up and you're playing on a 7-10 team. He's never gone to training camp not thinking that they can contend for a Super Bowl. The first time that happens, we'll see how he reacts.
Hurts or Burrow more likely to play for another team? Because
Hurts.
Joe Burrow, to me, the Met Gala and all of his flair for things outside of football that revolve around one of the two coasts. Because the Rams already have their heir apparent to Stafford. Herbert's not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, I would never suggest to go play for the Jets for anyone, but that the Jets' job's going to be there open, seemingly every other year.
I think Burrow's going to play the rest of the decade in Cincinnati. I think him and those receivers, they will finish the decade. Now, the 2030s is a whole different deal, and Burrow's going to play a lot longer than the receivers.
But even our favorite Eagle fan in the chat room, when I mentioned Hurts to him, because he joined after you said it, he's like, Yeah, I could see him having a bad year this year and how he wanted to get rid of him. I mean,
Totally.
and the fans want to get rid of. I mean,
Yeah.
the Eagle fan has to at least understand when we say Hurts, we're not really picking on the Eagles. There's a pretty good track record of them wanting to get rid of their quarterback.
Yeah. Who are they more likely to build a statue of, the quarterback or Howie? Howie. So you're putting your money on Jared Goff. That's a smart bet because he's already on another team, and it's a team that's still a contender. But I'm going to throw a couple shekels on Jalen Hurts.
Fair enough.
We'll ask
Fair
Pat
enough.
Kirwan this question in about 45 minutes' time.
But when we come back, he gave a non-committal answer, though I'm not surprised by it. Not because of who the person was, because of the timing. We'll talk about it next. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, you got to check your mental Rolodex. Someone texted in and said they think, and they did say they think that Grogan started that game for the Patriots and Eason came in after they were getting blown out.
No, it was the other way around.
Oh, he actually just said, my fault. I had that backwards. Okay, see? From where? Herkimer Nye? Where the hell is Herkimer Nye? Sounds like a good relief pitcher.
I think it's Herkimer, New York.
Okay. I'm sorry. The way I write it, Herkimer, New York, huh? Okay. I've never heard of Herkimer, New York. Herkimer Nye does sound like a relief pitcher, though. Just telling you.
I think Herkimer's near. Is it near Utica?
It's a big state with a lot of cities, David.
Yeah. It's a small town. I don't think there's 10,000 people in it. Colorado, Carolina ambient.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us at the top of the hour on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Rays have won 15 of 17 for the moment, have a 2-game lead in the East as the Yankees going through a little schneid, having lost 4 in a row. What you got? Carolina in hockey, the Knicks in OKC and Hoop, who have both advanced to their respective conference finals. A few 2-2s and a few series that are 2-1 and 3-1 on their way to the conference finals.
David, I have a question for you. And I have a list in front of me here to help the people out who are listening to the show. But when I say, if I were to say to recalibrate something, what would you think of?
Recalibrate?
Yes.
I would think of an automobile.
I think that's a good guess, David. I actually went to AI and Chat GPT and said things you recalibrate. Thermostat, golf cart battery meters, tire pressure sensors, audio equipment, compasses, medical equipment, scales, clocks, watches, and apparently LeBron James.
Excuse me?
Because LeBron, who loves to say things that really make no sense and don't apply to the rest of the world and any way, shape, or form, when asked about what he's going to do. And look it, I did not expect LeBron, after losing last night, to say, I'm retiring or I'm coming back. But LeBron has this way about him that LeBron thinks he's the smartest guy in the room all the time. And the fact of the matter is he's not. Probably ever. Unless he's in there with a bunch of children. But LeBron talked about, saying that, my future, I don't know what it holds, and all of those things, and that he left it all out on the floor, and he did. 41 years old. He played 40 minutes last night. He had 24 points. He had 12 rebounds. LeBron can play. For all of you that don't like him, the man can play. But he said he plans to recalibrate with my family and talk to them and spend some time with them. Is he an automobile? Does he need to go in the shop and be put up on the lift and checked out? David, I was getting swabs up at Moffitt once a week. Maybe LeBron needs to have his oil checked. I don't know.
I think you're having a little fun with them over one word, but
But this is what he does. He makes it easy to make fun of him over one word. He's going to recalibrate. David, you've been doing this a long time. Name me another athlete in the history of time that said they're going to recalibrate.
but in essence, that's what we all do. I mean, it's the same as take inventory, isn't it? Reassess. You know, I'm going to go talk about life,
but it's
happiness.
It's very much LeBron being LeBron. He was before the game. He grabbed a thesaurus or he went on his phone. Ooh, recalibrate. I like that. I'm going to use that one tonight.
Well, you know what? He does have a friendly bet with, who knows, Rich Paul, and says, listen, I'll work recalibrate into a soundbite tonight. Okay, who knows?
Now, and I believe it to be true, he did say, and I do believe this to be true, for him, when you're playing this long, it's a little harder. You know, he says he shows up for an 11 o'clock practice at 8 a.m. to get his body ready to go practice. Diving on the floor is a little more difficult at 41 than it is at 21. So everything about if he does come back, and I believe that he will. I've said that for a while. I do not think LeBron is retiring after getting swept and not allowing the world to recognize LeBron being LeBron. He loves himself as much, if not more, than any other athlete that I've, kind of covered doing what I do for 20 years. I don't recall anybody, and David, this includes diva wide receivers.
Ooh.
He is a diva wide receiver.
Maybe that's why I like him.
Probably. Probably. But I mean, I have two poll questions in my head, and I know we're not doing them as much anymore, but I could fire them both up. Do you think LeBron retires? I mean, 23 seasons.
23. And in his 23rd season, what did he average? 23, 7, and 7?
And look, his minutes were down, his games were down. But if you look throughout his career, LeBron's played. He's not been a load management guy. I'm having a little fun with his word choice because LeBron does this to himself. Read one page of a book and tell us the book report. I mean, come on, just do your thing.
He is the greatest player, late 30s, early 40s, the NBA's ever seen. I mean, somebody made a good point the other day. They were pointing out that Bird retired at like 35, Magic at 36, Jordan at 38, all right, Kobe at 37. I mean, retired. LeBron's 41. LeBron won a title at age 35.
What was Kareem's oldest title? That would be the only guy I would put in the same category because it just seemed like Kareem played forever.
I think Kareem's oldest title, he was older because it was the 88 Lakers, and I thought Kareem retired in 90. So I think Kareem was 39.
Okay,
I don't think he was 40 yet.
And I'll give old LeBron the edge over old Kareem.
But, I mean, you could argue that, what he's doing in his late 30s and early 40s, we have not seen. Kareem's the closest, but LeBron's even better.
And I mean, you can pick all sports. I mean, a guy like Chelios played forever and still played at a pretty high level in hockey.
I mean,
Brady did it in football.
I mean, Brady would probably be one, but LeBron two in terms of late 30s, early 40s. It's remarkable.
It is. But I don't see LeBron going out quietly. Even though he played really well in Game 4. Led the game with rebounds with 12 and had 24 points and played 40 minutes, by the way. I mean, ask a 76ers fan what they'd love to see Embiid play 40 minutes in a game.
You're the Cavs. You can have Harden next year or LeBron. They're different.
Can I tell you next week when this series ends?
No,
Okay,
no.
I
I'm
would like
asking you
to.
today.
I don't want to answer that question. I will recalibrate my answer for when the Detroit Cleveland series is over.
But then I'm wondering, are you going to ask for another 2 weeks to wait in case Cleveland wins? Are you going to wait for another 2 weeks to see how the Cleveland New York series goes?
No, because I think, regardless of if Cleveland were to get to the conference finals, I don't think either the Knicks or Cleveland have enough for the winner of the OKC Spurs series. I don't. I know the Knicks have been playing great. I get it. But look it. So, 2 poll questions today. I can slap them up there right now. Is LeBron retiring? And which quarterback could you see playing? Which Super Bowl starting quarterback could you see playing for another team? And I think it would just be 3. I think it would be Mahomes, Burrow, and Jalen Hurts. Because the rest of them, they're younger, and Darnold, I think, might win that. I think just between Burrow and Hurts, it's a hell of a conversation.
Well, I got a poll question I'd like to throw out on the other side. If I may, if we're just, we're just throwing stuff out there. I'm going to throw something on the wall and see if it sticks next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, what's the total? Do you know what the total, NHL media package is? How much money they get annually?
Well, I know from ESPN and Turner they get 700 million, but I don't know what Canada throws in. I could look it up. Okay. The big money Canada deal doesn't kick in until next year. And it's a big deal too. It's like $900 million a year. I think the current deal is $400 million in Canada. So I would say it's like 1.1 billion total.
I mean, the WNBA is not that far behind that. That was the only reason I was asking. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is year 5 of the 7-year deal for ESPN and Turner. So ESPN's got the finals. Here's my question about the Sabres. Can the Sabres slow it down? Because they've tried to just go out and outskate Montreal the last 2 games, and they've lost 11-3. And they do not look good in their defensive zone. I mean, Montreal's getting grade A scoring chances.
Joseph, you go recalibrate. Thanks for joining us.
This could stick, Mark. I don't know. People are liking the recalibrating.
And look at when push comes to shove, Montreal's got a much better goaltender. Much.
Although he was terrific in game 3, but I agree with you. I mean, that game's 12-2 if it wasn't for Lyon. Is it Lyon or Lyon?
Yep. I think it's Lyon.
I mean,
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until Pat Kirwan joins us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's funny how sometimes it's either part of why we're, the show that we're in 6 markets and not in 106, or why we've grown from 1 market to 6. Because sometimes there's a little anecdote in the sports world and we can do a couple hours off of it and go down different roads and tangents, and they all seem kind of fun and kind of interesting. And all because of Craig Morton's passing and the footnote that he was the first quarterback to be the starter for 2 different teams in the Super Bowl. We've gone down a lot of roads this morning.
Well, from time to time on the show, we recalibrate, David.
Listen, our chat room is loving it. They're loving the word. They're using it for everything. Sorry, guys, I got to go recalibrate.
Use it today in the office and see the looks you get. If you actually work with other people and don't work from home, figure out a way to throw recalibrate in about yourself, not about the copier, about
Right.
yourself.
Could this become our thing? We give a word of the day
What is this,
every
Pee Wee Herman
day.
show, for crying out loud?
We give a word of the day every day to our audience, and we say, "Hey, see if you could use this today at work."
David, we can't come up with a poll question on sports every day on the show, and you want a word of the day.
Well, we
What are you
can.
and me and LeBron going to grab the thesaurus every day before the show?
Once again, I don't even know if we have to come up with it, Mark. All we have to do is find it because the sports world, I think, gives it to us.
I nominate juxtapose.
Well, see, you couldn't say that for tomorrow? Oh. See, now we're having a poll question about what's our word of the day.
Well,
Recalibrate or juxtapose?
Enough with the poll. What's your poll? I mean, you had a
Okay.
poll. You've got it. I had two, and David's like, well, if he has two, I got to have one.
Well,
So what's
no.
your poll question?
That's actually, I had thought of the segment before during the break, and then you come up with two. And I said, well, if he's going to do that, then I guess I will throw this out there. Just curious. It's remarkable that none of these three have even made it to the final game of the year yet. Between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert, who plays in a Super Bowl first?
Well, in Justin Herbert's case, he hasn't played in a championship game.
Well, no, but
Won a playoff game, right?
no, he's yet to win a playoff game. But I mean, Mark, Sam Darnold hadn't won a playoff game either. And now the irony is of that draft class in 2018 of Baker, of Josh, Lamar, the first quarterback to appear in, never mind win a Super Bowl in that draft class, was the third guy taken, Sam Darnold. So, I mean, and I'll say this. I think the Chargers have had a really good offseason. And they were decimated by injuries last year, and in theory, they get all those guys back. I mean, think about it. They won, 11 games, made it to the playoffs, and they were a shell of the team that.
Right. Both tackles were gone for the majority, if not almost all, the whole year.
I mean, the weapons, pass rushers. I mean, I don't think the Chargers roster is – I think it lines up pretty well with Denver's. I think slight edge Denver, slight, but that's a really good roster in L.A. and made better yesterday by the signing of Njoku.
No, that definitely helps. I still think they need another receiver. I don't think that they have enough on the outside for Herbert. You know, Ladd McConkey's not, to me, the go-to guy that you need to win in the postseason because I think you can stop him. And I don't think they have enough there.
Agree.
But I wish they would have drafted a high-level receiver, but they needed a rusher, and they got one. So, you know, I mean, I'm not arguing with you on the Chargers roster. In fact, neither is Las Vegas because they have the highest over-under number in that division. The Chiefs actually have the second highest number, the Broncos third, which is preposterous to both Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, that seems ridiculous to us. Because also, what did Denver do? We didn't think they had enough weaponry, and what'd they do? They went out and paid a price, but they got some weaponry. I will say, quick sidebar, everybody's just got on June 1st or 2nd, A.J. Brown to New England. If I'm Philadelphia, like, you don't think you could get Buffalo to pay the price for A.J. Brown? You don't think you could get the Chargers to pay a nice price for A.J. Brown? I mean, seriously, you got some teams knocking on the door here. Put it this way. If I was Buffalo, I'd be talking with Howie going, you're not sending him to New England, are you? Not without talking to us. I'll have to move some stuff around salary-wise. This is going to be a problem, but we need him. Well, he puts us over the top. How about put A.J. Brown to the Chargers? Now tell me what you think of him.
Oh, no, I would like them a lot more with an A.J. Brown. That's a one.
Yeah.
I don't think Ladd McConkey's a one. Right. I think he's a really solid two.
Okay.
He could be a 1A with the one, if you know what I mean. By the way, I'm on the Hard Rock app right now. the betting favorite, and now this has a lot to do with the public, but the Chiefs are the betting favorite in the AFC West, then the Chargers, then the Broncos. Plus 210 on the Broncos. I mean, isn't that where you've got to lose your money, David?
Yeah. I mean, that's value. Yes. I think putting money on the Chiefs this year is you might as well just give it to a family member who you like instead. I mean, they've so much I think has to go right for the Chiefs. So much has to go right.
By the way, the Lions, the betting favorite in the North at plus 160. I wanted to just see how, because I thought those two divisions both have three teams that we think can win. The Packers are plus 220. The Bears are plus 325. That's also pretty good value.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But I think you make a really valid point on A.J. Brown. And David, I'm not doing this because of the story, but come on, given the fact that the Diana Rossini and Vrabel thing, and that was, she was the one talking that, do you think there's part of Howie out there that says, I'll just trade him to another team? I'll show her. I'll show him.
Well, Mark, apparently it's ABC, Good Morning America, who gets the NFL announcement this morning.
Oh, that's your game.
Apparently, the first Monday Night Football game, it's funny. We were just talking about the Broncos and the Chiefs. Well, they're playing each other. Monday Night Football, week 1, and it looks like the game is in Kansas City.
Now, will Patrick Mahomes be playing in that game?
You don't think the NFL scheduled this without assurances from Kansas City that he was going to be there, do you?
Well, assurances? I don't think you can give assurances on a guy coming back from a big injury. I think you can get good probability. Barring no setbacks, we believe Patrick Mahomes will start week 1.
Yeah, I think the NFL wanted even a little bit more than that.
I think they wanted it. By the way, I did see something funny today. It was an Onion story that Taylor Swift had announced wedding dates in L.A., New York, and Miami as well.
Ha, ha, ha. That's good.
That's solid material.
That's funny.
That's solid material. The Onion's good for that from time to time.
So there's the drip, drip, drip. Today is ABC on Good Morning America, and apparently Broncos Chiefs, the first Monday nighter. It looks like it's in Kansas City.
And that'll be 6 connections for David to get there from Jacksonville.
2. I think Atlanta, get to Atlanta.
You can get direct from Atlanta, can't you?
I can get Atlanta to Kansas City.
All right. Way to go, David. We're proud of you.
Hey, they've improved that airport significantly. They took a
good.
dump.
It was built in 1974 and hadn't been changed.
Yeah, they took a dump and made it a very nice airport. I got to give them a lot of credit. Any city looking to redo their airport, call the Kansas City folks. They did it right.
Because it was a dump.
Worst in America, and it wasn't close. Not for a major city. Missoula had a much nicer airport.
So we've got Bills and Lions on Amazon.
Yep.
We've got Cowboys and Giants on Sunday Night Football. And we've got the Broncos and the Chiefs on Monday Night Football to start the season.
Yep. Just hope Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes can make the show.
I'm betting 100% on Bo Nix.
I am also.
I mean, they even, I think Sean Payton said something earlier this week in that he he doesn't see any problems with the little ankle repair that was done. So he's fine. But Mahomes, that one to me,
Oh yeah. No, it's big. He had much bigger injury. All right. 2 different major ligaments with his knee. No. It's severe. It's severe. But you look at that, Mark. Okay, once again, buying into the whole the NFL, has a conspiracy to help the Chiefs. They even gave Mahomes and the Chiefs an extra 30-something hours to get ready for the opener.
you talked about the Nebraska thing earlier. You finished the starting 5 with the NIL, Nebraska ruling that these guys can't get paid. This isn't really political, but there's no other way to slice it. It is. When the president puts his bullseye on something, it typically doesn't go off, no matter who the president is. And the current president seems to not like streaming.
Right?
I mean, thinks that the public is paying too much for the NFL, having to get all of these streaming services. Now, he sometimes gets bored with whatever it is he's angry about and moves on to something else.
Right.
But he's a fan of the NFL. He's a fan of sports. And he's really not necessarily doubled and tripled down, but he's been reasonably relentless, David, on bringing this up often.
Well, remember his Department of Justice, and
Right.
I worded that the way I worded it because it's not as independent as it used to be. His Department of Justice is looking in to all of the streaming that the NFL is doing and the cost to us who want to watch the NFL, which came as a pretty big surprise to a lot of us who thought, wait a minute, this Department of Justice is doing this?
It probably came as a really big surprise to the NFL.
Yes. Could you imagine being the person running into the office with that news?
Raj, I got something for you here. He said it again. The streaming, the president, he doesn't like it at all.
Raj, you may have to make a phone call at some point. Some schmoozing may need to be involved.
Ask him who he wants to own the Seahawks. I'd start there.
Right.
By the way, now the value apparently is not as high as what they thought, because they thought it was going to be between 9 and 11 billion.
Right.
Now they think it's closer to just 9
Correct.
billion.
They don't think it's going to reach double figures.
So the Lakers are still worth more than the Seahawks. Barely. The Seahawks.
Hello. By the way, wouldn't you like to have the job with the president? You're the one that every night has to change the channel when he wants to go from sport to sport. You know he doesn't know what channel they're on, and you're just, that's okay, Mr. President, I've got it. It's going to take a minute. I've got to go to Peacock.
What do you mean the White House doesn't have Peacock?
Where's my stick?
Hey, does Vance have a Prime account? Because I can't seem to get on this thing.
Where's Kash Patel? Tell him to get the NBA playoffs on. No? Too political? Come on, that was funny.
Lighten
No,
up, Francis. That's all I'm telling you.
That's funny. Come on, folks. That's funny.
Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan. More NFL talk next.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Pat.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I am good. How about yourself?
Very good. With the way the two wins, they're not going to end up being back the Blades for the weekend for sure. So I just said, I'm going to go back up now. I got a bunch of stuff to do, and I'll just fly back when they start winning games in the third round.
Got to open up the cottage.
Yeah, I know that you can't wait too long on that. Otherwise, right. the habitat group, it takes over the place. Get that thing open and put the dock in, get the boat out and all that nonsense. So. Taking my grandson, one of them, around the football camps. I kind of, if the camp is on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll take him. So I got 6 colleges I'm going to.
Jeez.
Yeah. I think he's kind of doubling down, looking at places that he might want to go as well as go to camp there. But
well, it makes sense.
Yeah. Might as well go find out what the place is like. Yes, sir.
First off, good morning. Secondly,
Good morning.
there's a question in our chat room about the Bengals. First off, wondering if you're hearing anything about free agent rumors, but just how have you liked their offseason?
Well, they knew, which was quite obvious to the whole world, what was wrong with them, the defense. And they are trying to put big bodies in the middle of it and try to get going a little bit. I'm not so sure I like the pass rush. And the more the offense scores, the more you turn your opponents into throwing teams. They should be better against the run. I still think that the offense probably doesn't have to score 32 points to win, but they probably have to score 28 points to win. I don't think the defense is going to be up to par, although, I mean, people look at them from the perspective of the division with the 2 big coaches gone. That can't hurt them that Mike and Big John are gone. I don't really know that I factored in over the roster issues. They'll be fun to watch. You know, we've talked a lot about them on this show, that they have a real strong parallel to the Dallas Cowboys, right? Scoring machines that can't play defense. And I think in this league, you find out you can't win by outscoring guys. Just doesn't happen that way. You got to stop people. But I think a lot of teams don't go far enough. They start down a road. They bring in a bunch of guys. Half of them are backups. And they start thinking, well, we did a heck of a job. You still need to sign a veteran pass rusher or two. And they're out there still. So that would be, you show me that part, and I'll start thinking, yeah, maybe they could do it. I don't know how you guys feel about them. But I'd like to believe in them, but don't tell me you're finished with your personnel reconstruction. That's not over yet.
Oh, who's the other team that we said defense was, or like the Cowboys? The Bengals and Cowboys need their defenses to be like 20th, and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Tuesday, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show, live Oak Lake City, surrounding areas, the old stomping grounds in Southwest Florida, and Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan joining us once again. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is weekdays 3 to 6. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, and about a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Top of the morning to you, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear you guys, see you guys. And before we get going, how about, tell me if you feel like I do. Craig Morton was kind of underappreciated. You start thinking about the things he did, and he averaged over 2 touchdowns a game. And I just always remember talking to Gil Brandt about him when he was in Dallas, but I never felt like, and maybe at the time Denver was a smaller city, but I always felt like if that guy was in New York and produced what he did, and he had more than 2 touchdowns a game during his career, and in the era where we were throwing the ball 25 times a game, I don't know. I like to always pay a little respect to guys like him, and he passed away at 83. So yeah, I liked watching him, but I didn't understand him until I was older and started looking back at how good he was. I used to kind of think of him as, he's okay. But that was wrong by me when I was a youngster.
Well, we have spent a little time talking about him as well. David's the historian, so he brought up the fact that he was the first quarterback to start in 2 Super Bowls for 2 different teams. There have been 3 that have done it since, and Manning, Brady, and Kurt Warner. And, I put my money on Jared Goff of who the next one will be, because he's already started in 1, and he plays for a pretty good team. I'm not going to put that much faith in Aaron Rodgers if he indeed comes back for Pittsburgh. But, Pat, I'll ask you, out of these 3 guys, out of Mahomes, Burrow, and Jalen Hurts, which of those guys could you see playing for another team?
Jalen Hurts. And he's kind of always on a little bit of rocky ground, and they are professionally impatient. Even though they have success, They want it all, and they will conclude at some point that he needs to move on, and he'll want to move on. He learned something leaving Alabama and going to Oklahoma. So I think that's the guy. Do you disagree with me?
No.
That's
No, although I can see Burrow wanting to be on a coast.
He could be the next Stafford. He could be the next Stafford. Playing on a bad team long enough, had enough of it, and asked for his release and won't sign an extension, and he'll be gone. I don't think he'll do it like Carson Palmer did it, but I think more like Stafford.
That's very interesting. I'm just going to throw this out there. Joe Burrow thinks his privacy is being violated in Cincinnati. I mean, maybe, Joe Cool and the fashion shows and he's dating a model and the whole deal, but he has complained that his privacy is being messed with in Cincinnati. Are you sure you want to go to the coasts? That's just throwing it out there. You may want to pick someplace else that's cool and maybe, I don't know, fit your personality a little bit. Very quickly about Craig Morton. He had no mobility though.
No.
Now you could get away with that in the 60s.
I was going to say,
and 70s.
in that era, there were a lot of guys that fit into the stiff pocket passer, and it was being coached that way. How weird were we as coaches to take athletic guys and try to freeze them into a pocket passer, and then when they couldn't do it, we called them a failure rather than trying to build an offense around their skills.
Right. So, but Craig Morton and Roger Staubach involved. I mean, could you imagine, Mark? We'll just spend 30 more seconds on this, but imagine. Remember when Spurrier alternated quarterbacks with plays? He would have the quarterback bring in the next play.
Yeah.
Okay, he did it for a game. Tom Landry and the Cowboys did it with Staubach and Craig Morton for half a season until they settled on Staubach.
Yeah. Well, those different time, the electronics weren't there, and you just Landry, whatever play he called was the one they were going to run. There was no changing the play. And I think this offense was clever enough that it was universal in that it did fit against different things. And Tom felt like, if I see what I want to do, we're going to do it. I mean, what did Tom really do that made him different? It was him, in my mind, that caused coaches to think they had to call the plays. Before that, players called the plays until the mad scientists in Dallas came along.
May have to go watch North Dallas 40 with all this nostalgia going on right now.
Your sarcasm is absolutely appreciated. I'll come over and watch it with you.
I know. All right. We were just talking, and I'm astonished. We always spend a little bit of time on over-unders. To David and I, we are just stunned that the Broncos have the third highest over-under in their own division. Both the Chiefs and Chargers have higher numbers as total of wins. Vegas has them as the third betting favorite in that division. Pat, I know the betting public's not that smart. I get why the Chiefs are the favorite, because people just blindly bet on Mahomes. And sometimes experts, because I know this guy who bets on Mahomes a lot. I'm talking to him. But when you look at that division, roster-wise, the Chiefs are the third best roster, aren't they?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this will be great for Sean Payton's motivation if he actually has a way to suggest how we're perceived. So let's go back to your first point. People bet on the quarterbacks a lot. They bet on the quarterback because he changes the game the most, and he can drag along an average football. I thought Peyton Manning dragged along an average football team for a long time. His offensive line was shaky a couple of years, a lot of years, and he's just able to manipulate the thing and keep them winning. I think Tom Brady didn't play on some great teams. We've talked about it. You know, there were good players, but there weren't great receivers. Tom Brady dragged along a B football team. And as soon as he was gone, we found out they were a C football team. So I just think that maybe there's some wisdom to the way people see that. And maybe they think they've figured out that Mahomes is going to be back in time for the whole season. Because in that division, if he misses 3 weeks, they're not going to win the division. It's hard. It's hard out there. And, you know, how many wins do you think it's going to take to win the thing, no matter what team you call? I'm not taking the Chargers that way. They got a ways to go for me. And I think someday, if things don't clean up, we might have to all look at Justin Herbert a little different than we do. We've given him and anointed him, rightfully so, very talented. But what has he done?
Well, and the head coach then is going to get lapped in, even though he did a tremendous job in San Francisco. But obviously, he's been there 2 years. They've made the playoffs twice, and they've gotten whacked in the wild card game both times. Quarterback's yet to win a playoff game. Jim's yet to win a playoff game with the Chargers, and he ain't a young guy. So, and his shelf life is usually not very long because he wears on people. So, I think we're getting close to make it happen time with the Chargers. I made this point earlier, Pat, and I don't know if you agree. Are we sure that A.J. Brown's going to New England? Because I could make the case if I'm Buffalo, if I'm the Chargers, and I could throw another couple teams in there. It's kind of like, we need him as much as they do. I mean, I think you put A.J. Brown in Buffalo, it's over. They go to the game finally.
I agree with you. And so we all kind of assume that they were waiting to trade him till the June 1st reality and all that. I get it. But what you did was open up more teams to think about it, consider it, and look at their finances and realize they could get into this thing. And who's happier than the Eagles to have a lot of bidders on this guy? So I agree with you. So, I mean, you like to get into the battle of get the best guys on your team. And I think you're not alone on this. I think there are going to be 3 or 4 teams that AFC teams, right? You got to ask yourself, do you want to play against the guy? Because if he's on your team, you got to set your coverages up to that guy. Otherwise, they're going to beat you down. So what does that mean? He's a real one. You're going to have to put 2 on him, 1.5 man at the minimum. Otherwise, and if you have a quarterback like Buffalo does, he'll deliver the ball. You want Josh Allen to stop running as much as he runs? Well, put A.J. Brown on that field.
Right, and I look at the Chargers as well. McConkey's good, but he's not a one. And Njoku's a great addition, but that doesn't change the fact that they need a game breaker on the outside. A.J. Brown's, I mean, I don't know who has the draft picks and the capital to give to Philadelphia that they want, but to your point, I mean, look at the June 1st thing and then all the Rossini Vrabel stuff. Howie's now, you've got to think he's taking phone calls, right, Pat?
Yeah, he should. He should be. And most guys that are looking at themselves after the mini camp and listening to their coaches review their position groups, you're going to get the receiver coaches and the OCs going, we don't have enough weapons here. And so I think a team like Buffalo would be very interesting. And things are a little different now. Sean had a big say there, and Brandon has all the say. And his head coach is an offensive coordinator. You think he's going to make a sales pitch to get Brown in there? Absolutely. So I do think a bunch of teams, and I do think that Howie would love to get rid of the guy in the AFC. And
yeah.
The farther away, the better.
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Well, but I mean, if Denver gave up a first-round pick for a receiver, how could New England, Buffalo, the Chargers, I don't know who else you want to add to the list? Okay, how could they not be given a 1 and for A.J. Brown?
Yeah, well, I don't want to reach into more teams, but yesterday I spent a lot of time on the Colts. I don't know. They walked away from Pittman, had 111 targets. They want Daniel Jones to perform. I still think they're a full receiver short, and they would be very dominating with him with the other receivers they have. So you never know. I don't think the Colts are going to be one, but if you start from who has a deficiency at the position and then work back to who has the money and who has the will to do it, I don't know. I get interested in some other teams while I'm at it.
And that would be a thing that the Eagles would like. I'd like to focus a little bit more on that division the Colts are in, the AFC South, when we come back with Pat Kirwan.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. AmericanPaintSupplies.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So you're heading up when? Thursday?
No, Friday. That's why I was trying to make sure you can use me on Thursday would great. My flight is 6:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah. I like the early
get back to your
flights.
show too.
I just gotta see.
Well, and that's good. This time of year, the airport's got to be pretty easy to get through.
Yeah, I was there yesterday picking up my wife, and it was kind of amazing. There was almost, I felt like it was a ghost town at RSW.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, and you can tell on 41 too. I mean, this happens every year. It's not news, but I went down to Naples, I think last Friday, dermatologist guy, and I prepared an hour for that trip, and I was there in 30 minutes.
Yeah, yesterday was my wife's first day back with all of my stuff because she took a leave of absence with everything going on. It was her first day back. She works down in Naples, and she wasn't angry when she got home, so that was a good thing.
There it is. But you know what else? I'd be interested if you talked to her about this. Finally, on 41, they coordinated the lights.
Well, she takes the highway home, so
Yep.
she's never on 41. So unless there's accidents and Waze tells her to take 41, because
Well-
she's way down. She's in damn near, she's kind of almost downtown / East Naples, if you will.
Yep. Okay, so she makes the turn down in town there. But
Yeah, she takes Golden Gate up to the interstate.
yeah, they changed the light structure, which was awesome. Because it used to be you'd go one light and the next one would be red. They're all green for like 10 miles. You fly right through. It's kind of like New York City's like that on 11th and 10th Avenue. When the lights change, they change simultaneously all the way down. And I said, they finally figured this out. Because it was terrible up here by me. The next light, it was just, you couldn't even get to Bonita Beach Road in less than a half hour.
They have been, they are all over my street out in front of Estero Parkway. The cops are cracking down on the people doing 65 and a 45. There was literally 3 of them, like at the entrance to my neighborhood, all stacked up yesterday at like, I don't know.
Yeah.
7:30, 8 o'clock at night. They were raring to take people down.
Well, it's not the students. They're gone right now, but some of those kids that live down in those housing things down there,
Oh, yeah.
they go flying over that
And
hill.
there's the occasional adult
Yeah.
who might go a little faster than he should on that road. I don't know what that would be.
Depends on if you're late for bringing someone to school.
Or just driving. I have a little bit of a lead foot. I admit it. You know, I'm horrible. I see that whether it's Waze or Google Maps, I see that time and I look at it as a race and I beat it. Arrival 8:14, my ass. I can get there by 8:12.
That's right. Leaning at the tape. Another victory.
That's right. I went and picked up a pie late night there at that Mama Anna's place in Coconut Point there, Pat.
Yeah.
And I called, you know, they closed at 9. I called literally like 5-6 minutes at 9 and they answered. I said, is it too late to order a pizza? And he's, no problem, with the Italian accent. And they still had customers in there. But I'm like, man, I'm flying. I didn't want to make them wait. They still had all kinds of customers at a little bit after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
They are very nice there. They've done a good job of the owners are great, the owners' sons are great, and the employees they've hired, they've all hired people that are pretty good kids. So that helps.
Yeah, I agree with that. It hurt them that the movie theater closed down, didn't it?
Well, I think it was closed before they opened. That thing's been closed a while.
Yeah. I used to go there when it was a beer place.
Yep.
Imported beers and stuff, you know, and all that.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. More with Pat Kirwan in a moment. Earlier, in a coordinated announcement between the NFL and ABC on Good Morning America, the first Monday Night Football game of the year was announced. It was announced as Denver versus Kansas City. So an assumption was made by many in the media, including me, that since Kansas City is announced second, the game's in Kansas City. The NFL has now made sure that they let everybody know we haven't determined where the game's going to be yet. You'll find that out Thursday night. So all we know is that the first Monday Night Football game is Denver and Kansas City. Location to be determined.
Well, isn't it typical of the NFL? They know the location. This reminds me of what they did with the first pick in the draft. They make a team wait, and and the draft is open, and then we have to wait 9 minutes to hear Mendoza's name. So they want to split that news into two things: the teams and then where.
That's ridiculous.
It is, but I think fans don't fall for all that stuff. And by the way, I'd like to bet that it's in Denver. How's that?
Hope so.
See, it's a true-false question. It was my favorite type of college exam. 50-50 right off the bat.
Right there with you, Pat. I'm right there with you. Hey, I caught like literally seconds of your show yesterday because the daughter and I actually talked the whole ride home. But when you started, I saw her at some point. I saw you getting into the Colts, and I saw you doing a little bit with the AFC South. And I'm kind of happy about that because I think it's a underappreciated division. The Jags, the Texans, the Colts were off to that great start before Daniel Jones got hurt. Who made the biggest improvement from last year to this year? Is there a roster that you look at now that you think has made a significant jump from a year ago?
Well, let me start from the one that didn't make a big jump personnel-wise, Jacksonville. If you really look at Jacksonville, they just decided to run it back with that football team. And they won 13 games. I've talked to Liam Cohen about his roster. He loved his roster, but he didn't really let a lot of guys out the door. Travis Etienne, Timmy Patrick, Diami Brown, guys like that. And they were not very active in free agency after Chris Rodriguez, a running back that Liam had before. You really look at it, and the draft was not that impactful for them. So they're betting on the team we had will be the team that goes. That's them. Indianapolis, they moved a lot of guys. And they were, we know about the 7-game mudslide at the end of the season. But you think about Kwity Paye, Mike Pittman, Kenny Moore, Ecubon, Lewis, Zaire Franklin, Nick Cross. They moved a lot of guys off there, and they blamed themselves. And they were 2-4 in the division. That's the other problem. They looked at their team and said, we can't win in this division, and we need to do a lot of things. But as I pointed out, the Pittman loss is a reason I would keep thinking, why wouldn't they get on the ride for A.J. Brown and see if they could get him? You can't give up 111 targets, 80 receptions, and 7 touchdowns and think you replaced that. You did not. So that's them. And I think if the quarterback stays healthy, but once again, if he gets hurt like he's been many times, I don't think any of the backups can win. You can keep, not you guys, saying Rick, Leonard, come on. We know what these guys are. No. So they're vulnerable. Houston, to me, has a long history of rolling their roster, right? Nick Cesario likes tons of one-year deals. And who'd he move off? Tomlinson, Titus Howard, he traded. Christian Kirk, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon was a failure. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So he moved them. He was 5-1 in the division, and he was only 1 win off the Jags. So they did something. I like some of their draft picks. I like some of them I don't like, but I like Rutledge more than most guys. People thought, oh, we're surprised he's a first runner. I watched that guy practice. He's a bad man. That's what I'll leave it at.
Mhm.
He reminds me of a guard that went to the Bucks who was kind of looking for a fight every 5 minutes. And that guy had red hair too. There's something about those redheaded guys. They're a little bit violent.
Yeah, they've been picked on a lot, Pat.
Growing up, yeah. So I like Houston. I think it's a 2-horse race again. Indianapolis is going to turn the roster over and see if it helps. When you look at their draft picks, I think C.J. Allen will be fine and maybe Halsey. But after that, I don't think you're going to get a lot. They're bending on guys like Arden Key. This is why I think they're a team that should be getting a major pass rusher. I like Arden Key, but his career as a whole has not been dynamic. He certainly did not live up to where he was drafted. He had a good year last year. I don't know if I put him in the driver's seat of the pass rush.
Well, let me tell you, if the Colts don't deliver this year, they're probably going to have a new coach and general manager. So it's a big year in Indianapolis. Daniel Jones may have a long shelf life there, but that coach and GM need to do something. Remember, this is a new owner. She's been patient, but she's also let them know she's involved.
No, she's very involved.
Yes, and she's let them know, hey, it's time for us to win again. And they've been 9-8, 8-9, a few too many times here in recent memory. But just based on what you've said, I mean, don't you have to bet on Houston? Because they have far and away the most dominant unit in the division. I mean, that defense could probably win you 9 games if they handed the ball off every play. I mean, if that's not the best defense in the league, it's really close.
I'm with you 100% on that. And if I had to bet on this, I'd take Houston over Jacksonville. They also were 5-1 in the division. So they and Jacksonville figured out the division. The defense is a dominating one, and it's one of the only ones I think that can win games on their own, which is really what you're asking. Can they do that? They can. So, yeah, I think Houston would be the way I'd go. Again, this is a division, Mark, that has a lot of cap space. Nobody's in cap jail here. And go back down and look at Indianapolis. They have $32 million in cap space, 18 up in Houston. And I know that GM, he'll spend it to get it right. And it was their offense. They fired coaches. They fired offensive linemen. I don't know. You tell me, David, do you think C.J. Stroud's going to have the breakout elite year that we all put him into the top 5 guys? I don't.
Well, 1 really good year and 2 above average years and trending in the wrong direction. And they've blamed every coach and offensive lineman that they could.
Yep. Which quarterback do you like more, Stroud or Trevor Lawrence? Mark?
Trevor Lawrence. And here's the ironic thing is that right now, after 1 year, we were all like, well, look at you and I were both CJ Stroud guys, not Bryce Young guys. We looked really smart after year 1. After year 4, how are we going to look, Pat? Like, I'm serious.
I would take Stroud over the kid in Carolina all day.
Okay, you're still there. All right.
I'm never leaving it.
All right.
Small guy. You know, that's
and
me.
I agree with you on the small guy, but I watched that playoff game with CJ Stroud. He was awful. I mean, that was what's his? That was Nathan Peterman-esque. That was
It
so
was.
bad.
Mhm.
The first mistake I thought was that they fired the offensive coach
Totally.
and they blamed him. So it took the players off the hook. And they thought a coach was going to fix it. That was they duplicated the year before, didn't they? New coach, same exact results.
They fired him all because he restricted CJ's ability to audible. And CJ basically went to the head coach and management and said, him or me. And they chose the quarterback, which you have to do, I guess. But their offense hasn't been as good since.
I'm more sarcastic than you. I would have said, no, we're keeping both of you. You can go back to the locker room now. Sorry, but I meant it.
No, I get it. There's a lot on CJ Stroud this year. I mean, we talk about Justin Herbert, but I mean, from a pressure standpoint, CJ Stroud has as much pressure on him entering this year as any other quarterback. Pat, safe travels the rest of the week. We'll catch up after the NFL schedule comes out early next week.
All right. Very good. Take care, guys.
Miller and Moulton, Pat Kirwan. His appearance brought to you by Pinchers.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Come on, guys. Ay, ay. Got that right, Javier. Not one complaint the entire round, and I had a lot of double bogeys and some bad 3-putts. Canada Relief, you seem really, really hyped about the Oklahoma City Thunder draft picks. I mean, we are aware that they have a war chest of them. We've been aware for a while. In fact, we talked about it yesterday when they have the 12th overall pick in the draft and they have the best team.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. At Kirwan just joined us. Yes, Miller and Moulton joined us. The American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. We have talked a surprising amount of football, just a little this, a little that today. The playoffs, not in a lull, but in an interesting spot. Had some sweeps, got some series that look as if teams have them under control. We got some 2-2s, though. We do.
Right, but how many people are really excited about Detroit and Cleveland?
And Anaheim and Vegas, you're right.
Well, I don't think anybody's excited about Anaheim and Vegas, except for people in Anaheim and Vegas.
Right.
I mean, the NBA does get a lot of talk. We do have T-Wolves and Spurs games apiece, which has been, I think, surprising. But once it started with Minnesota winning game 1, you kind of saw the lane for it to be 2-2 here. And yet, while it's 2-2, the Spurs are 10.5-point favorites tonight.
Right.
The biggest story out of this series was the elbow by Wembanyama and whether or not he was going to get suspended for game 5. We didn't think he would. He didn't.
Very interesting, I thought, yesterday. So Paul Pierce commented and Kendrick Perkins commented. They're contemporaries. In fact, they played on the same Celtics team that won a title and competed for a couple others. Paul Pierce was like, when I played, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that wasn't that long ago. Paul Pierce was like, when I played, that would have been an offensive foul. Maybe a technical, but I don't even think he gets ejected from the game. Perkins is like, I think he should be suspended for game 5. I was like, wow, that's two guys, same team. Now, you can have that. I mean, not everybody on a team's the same, the whole deal. But, I mean, this is two contemporaries. They're about the same age. We're both in the NBA, almost the same amount of time. Pierce a little longer. Obviously, a superior player. But I'm like, wow. And not only that, Perkins is the quote-unquote big guy. I was surprised. I was very surprised. I thought, Mark, the people that would be saying that Wemby should be suspended, quite frankly, would be non-players. Might be the Nick Wrights of the world that would have brought it up. But Perkins was like, no, I think he should be suspended game 5. That was a deliberate elbow to the head.
Well, I'm surprised Nick Wright didn't say it because apparently the rumor is he put a rather large bet on the T-Wolves. He was out in Vegas for the fight over the weekend, and he's apparently a really good poker player and won a bunch of money playing poker. He went to the fight with the guy that he calls the world's best poker player. And they're talking gambling, this, that, and the other. They go sit down. He apparently wins a couple of big hands and walks over and makes a monster bet on the T-Wolves for the series.
For the series?
Yeah,
wow.
He got big odds. So I want to say he potentially could win $2 million with whatever the bet was that he made. at that point. But that series, there's some star power there. You've got Anthony Edwards, you got Wembanyama, so there is some star power in that. I mean, you do have it with Cade and Donovan Mitchell in the other series, but it's Cleveland and Detroit. It's just outside of the Midwest. I don't think the rest of the country is all that excited about that series. If the Knicks and Sixers were 2-2, the world would stop for that right now. But that's not the case. The Knicks obviously dominated that series. But yeah, we've talked a lot of NFL today because the schedule's been leaked out in little drips and drabs.
True.
You know what other little schedule came out yesterday? Fox's Friday night college football schedule. And it begins with USC. Now they're hosting Fresno State, but USC, we mentioned CJ Stroud with a lot of pressure. Trojans got a lot of pressure this year, David.
No doubt.
That is a team that may have as much pressure as anybody in college football heading into this year.
And they made sure to schedule non-conference wise so that, they only have to worry about their 9 Big Ten games because they scheduled about as soft as they could.
But Fox did a pretty good job of getting quite a few big boys, if you will, on Friday night.
And a lot of Big Ten.
They did. Early, it's a couple of Big 12 games, but September 18th, Houston and Texas Tech. To me, that's a good get. The following week, yeah, it's Northwestern, but they're playing at Indiana. And we like watching Indiana right now. So another good grab. They get Penn State on there. A lot of Northwestern. Northwestern's got a couple games back to back. But Iowa and Washington, that's a pretty good Big Ten game.
I was impressed with the big. Now, it's a rule, I will say. It is a rule in the Big Ten that every team has to appear on the Big Ten network once a season. Okay? And certain schools obviously hate it. I don't think it's a rule that every Big Ten team has to play a Friday night game every year, but I was impressed with the number of big boys, Mark, that Big Ten, Fox, when they sat down and they talked about life and the pursuit of happiness, and they're trying to figure out who they're going to get on Big Ten network games, and then also on Friday night, I was impressed with the number of big boys that are on the Friday night schedule.
Well, look at Iowa and Washington. I don't know if either of those, Iowa people seem to think they've got a schedule that could get them to the playoff this year. That the Iowa people that I know are, well, they're always gung-ho, but they're even a little more gung-ho this offseason.
Hey, Mark, they were dangerously close to making the playoff last year. Oregon beats them on a last-second kick in foul weather on a great drive. Okay, and Indiana and Iowa are tied mid-fourth quarter.
Right. But, Iowa and Washington, if we were at 16 or 24, this would be even bigger than it is. Nebraska at Illinois. Now, I don't know how good Nebraska is going to be this year. They got a new quarterback at Illinois. They always have higher expectations than they live up to, but that's a pretty decent game for a Friday night. They get the Ducks. Now they're going to come kick my Spartans' ass on November 20th. And then West Virginia and Utah the last weekend in November. That's a pretty solid game. I will just say, from a Friday night standpoint, when I look at this Friday schedule, I can see myself watching a lot of this, David. That's the conclusion I came to in seeing the Friday night schedule. But you're right. Every team's got to get on the Big Ten network. I don't know how. I guess, yeah, because they have double headers. So they throw a lot of games at you. They'll get, Michigan and Ohio State early against someone that's bad. That's the way that works. Unless they get one of them against Purdue in a Big Ten game. That's, those are really your choices there. Right. No offense, Purdue, but that's where you are right now.
Because you have Fox, CBS, NBC, and ABC/ESPN, although they don't carry them anymore, all going. What are you doing with that Ohio State game? What are you doing with that Michigan game? What are you doing? We'll carry it. Fox is going, we got this FS1 channel too. What are you doing? And that's when the network has to remind them, you do know you own over 60% of the Big Ten network. And they're like, yeah, but we still want them on a better network where more people can see them. Who was the dumbass who wrote that into the contract? Everybody's got to appear on this channel once.
It was long before the Petiti got there and signed with 3 networks, David. That's what
right.
I mean, that's all that's about. By the way, Ohio State will be on ABC, ESPN. That'll be week 2 when they're at Texas.
Right.
Because that game's owned by ABC. So
yeah,
they'll have their cake and eat it too, because they'll get both Ohio State. Now, Fox will get theirs because they'll get Oklahoma at Michigan week 2. So those are the 2 big non-conference games in the Big Ten Conference this year. Michigan hosting Oklahoma, Ohio State going to Texas.
I just remember last year, Mark, that CBS's big non-conference game was Oklahoma State at Oregon. I believe it was 66-3, and Gundy got fired within 48 hours, but that's me.
Well, don't worry. You'll only be traveling west for Mondays this year.
Although I've been led to believe apparently about half the season we're going to be out west. Remember, Seattle's the Super Bowl champions. 2 teams in L.A., Super Bowls in L.A. Denver nearly played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's interesting. If I'm a network executive, I get it. I know they're the defending Super Bowl champs. I know they're going to get 5 primetime games. If you're a network executive, do you really want Seattle in primetime that much? I'm being serious, David.
No, but you're going to get them at least once. And I think Monday Night Football will get the Seahawks twice. They may only get them in Seattle once, but I'll bet you they get them twice.
That's a good way to get Arizona on the schedule.
See, that's the other thing with the schedule maker significantly upgrading Amazon's Thursday night schedule. The running joke was that the Jacksonvilles and the Arizonas of the world, what happened? The Carolinas of the world, they got buried on Thursday Night Football. They ain't burying teams on Thursday Night Football anymore.
But I mean, look at the entire NFC East is interesting. I don't know how good they're going to be, but Washington with Daniels, then New York with the new coach and a young quarterback that that whole division's interesting. The NFC North is pretty interesting.
Well, and not only that, Mark, you've just touched upon the whole NFC East delivers ratings too when they're interesting. That all 4 of those teams move the needle. Don't kid yourself. They do. And now let's go to the North when the North teams are interesting. Packers are national. Bears are national. That's 6 of the 8. And then you weigh how interesting the Vikings and the Lions are.
Well, and if the Lions are, I'm not saying they're moving the needle that much, David, but we did see when the Lions got good, people were interested. People from Michigan are everywhere. We all left. Last one out, turn out the lights.
And not only that, people have seen how the Lions play, and they like how they play. They find them exciting.
They like the coach.
They do, but also that's a wide open offense. They move the ball, they score points, they're exciting. They got home, St. Brown, Gibbs, they got home run hitters. People like watching that team play.
There's a lot more interesting than uninteresting teams in the NFL right now. We've gone through times when, give me New England and just give me this team. There are a lot of interesting, the Pittsburgh always gets their due. They're the 3rd most interesting team in that division.
Now, NFC South, not an interesting team in the division.
No.
Not nationally. I'm not saying this to insult you, the Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints fan. Nationally right now, those teams have no juice.
Same with the AFC South, and the division's good.
Correct.
But the AFC West, even the Raiders are a draw.
Yes, they are.
Television. Don't kid yourself. The Raiders still move the needle.
You know what's interesting? Raiders still move the needle. Dolphins don't. And you could look at the last 20 plus years and levels of success and what have you. And their heyday was both at the same time in the 70s into the 80s. And yet the Raiders are more national than the Dolphins are in this lost century that they've both had.
In fact, David, you're right. I mean, I would still say the Bucks move the needle right now more than any other Florida team because Baker moves the needle slightly. If you were to tell me what team from Florida I want to put on a nationally televised game, I'd put the Bucks ahead of the Jags or the Dolphins. I'm not saying they're the best roster, not even saying they're the best team right now. I'm just saying from an interesting standpoint, give me the Bucks and Baker.
They've also won 2 Super Bowls this century, and the Brady carryover even. So I'd agree with you. Okay. A lot of damage done in Miami in this lost century. A lot of damage.
Who? Where?
Miami?
Never heard of her.
I don't know. She looks great on the runway, though. She really does.
Is that a song by Will? Are the Heat playing? What about the Marlins?
It'd be nice to get it. Could they ever be good again? Please, guys, get good again.
That's a fascinating concept right there. I don't know how much longer we're going to do this. Are we ever going to see the Dolphins be any good? Miller and Moulton, boy, does David ever want it. I say it's 50-50.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Left Twix. I'll answer it. They won. The answer is yes. And it doesn't matter if they win 7-6. You win, you stay with them.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Pro Hour, the bonus hour. Live in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, of course, live on Twitch and on the Miller and Moulton YouTube channel as well. Thanks so much for being with us. You know, Mark, sometimes we say offhanded stuff going to break. Sometimes we say funny, charming stuff going to break.
Not that often, but sure.
Yeah, no. More than you think.
You're on a roll. Run with it.
Thanks. But you were, I think, all of the above. Funny, charming, and a little flippant even with what you said heading to break. And if you weren't with us just a few moments ago, I just wondered, when would the Dolphins be good again? And Mark wondered aloud, will they be good again while we're still doing this show? Now, full
God
disclosure,
willing, we got 5 more years.
6. No, 6. I said it.
Yeah, you'll get her to college.
Right. That was the deal, because there's a 4+ year age difference between the two of us. And if we do 6 more years together, I'll be 66 and change. And so I had said to Mark when we, because obviously, not to get too serious here, but we've had a few ups and downs with this show. We've been fired a few times. Now we're completely on our own, trying to make good of it. And we had a decision to make a couple years ago. I mean, Mark looked at me and like, are we going to do this? And by doing this, I got a kid to get to college. So you got to be in. And I'm like, I'll help you get your daughter to college. I said, now I cannot promise you I'll get her through college, but if I'm breathing, I will get her to college. And Mark said, okay. And so we're in. So when he makes those charming, funny, flippant comments 10 minutes ago, I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, I mean, the Dolphins only have 6 years now to get good.
Right.
I mean, we've been doing this 20 years. When he's made those comments before, they had so much time. Now,
Right.
I can only guarantee him 6. I may do more, but I guaranteed him. Looked him in the eye, shook his hand, and said, this is a blood vow. I will give you 6. I will give you, at the time, it was 8 or 9. I will give you to college. I promise.
But we've got 6 NFL seasons for sure, as long, God willing, as long as the stations still keep us on,
Right.
and we still have sponsors and all the stuff that goes with it. And there is a lot that goes with it.
Right.
But if we can do our end of the deal,
6.
David's end is 6 more NFL seasons.
At most 7. Because if I can do the 7th, that'll take me to my 67th birthday. Okay, so and it maybe, who knows, but it's a guaranteed 6 and no more. And then the proverbial Mark, I'm day to day.
All right. I was going to do it with my alma mater, but I'm not.
Okay.
Better shot to make a playoff run in the 6 years that we have remaining.
Okay.
I'll keep it in the Sunshine State. Miami, that's the Dolphins, or Florida State.
Oh, wow.
I don't just mean make the playoffs, because I think first off, I think we're going to be at 24 by then. I think the Knowles will get in by then. I think the Dolphins will make the playoffs in the next 6 years.
Well, and they just made it twice recently. And, but by good, I think we're thinking, how about this? Like Houston has made it 3 years in a row, and they won a playoff game 3 years in a row. The Houston Texans are good.
All right. AFC Championship or Final Four in football. I know they can't call it that. Florida State, Miami Dolphins.
Holy
And you can't answer South Florida, okay? I'm just saying. You can't go Kevin Durant on me here.
damn.
This is great. I'm really enjoying this because, look, I am partial to Tampa over Miami. I have been since I moved here. I like the Bucs more than the Dolphins. Don't ask me why. I just have. I'm more partial to this side of the state where I live than I am the other side of the state. David's now in Jacksonville. I picked on Jacksonville for a long time. But if I were to rank the order of Florida teams professionally that I like in football, it would go Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami. And it wouldn't be close.
And I have always had a soft spot for the Dolphins. It literally goes back to when I was 7. I loved Zonka. Okay. That was probably the first team that I started following, even though I was being raised in a Giants household, so to speak. But the Giants were not good. I love those Dolphins teams of the early mid-70s. I like Shula. Okay. And don't laugh. As a kid, loved the helmet. Loved it. I'm like,
that Zonka thing.
I loved the fullback. I loved the Marv Hubbard of the Raiders. Franco was technically, for a while they listed him as the fullback. I loved those 70s fullbacks, Mark. Loved them.
And first off, if they ever go back to those uniforms, there's a chance you could get me to change allegiance. But it ain't happening with what they're wearing now.
Exactly.
They don't look as good. I'm sorry.
They don't. So I should say Florida State. I really should, because I don't think it would take much.
Right.
I mean, I really don't.
Who will make the playoffs more in the 6 years we have left? The Dolphins or the Knowles? I'm not even saying how good you have to be. I mean, some mediocre teams are going to, when we're at 24, it's going to be mediocre teams making the playoffs. And there are mediocre teams that make it in the NFL every year.
Well, you're basically asking who's going to make the playoffs more between 2028 and 2031, because neither the Dolphins nor the Knowles are making the playoff in the next 2 years.
See, I think the Dolphins could in 27. We have watched teams in a short time turn it around. We have. And with the portal, anything's possible in the ACC. But Florida State doesn't seemingly have the money that other schools have in the ACC. But that can change on a dime too. But 26 is out. It's out.
Obviously. Right. I think next year is out too. Okay. I don't think it helps the Dolphins that the Patriots and Bills are in their division, and while we could argue whether or not the Bills front office is putting enough around Josh Allen, with Josh Allen, oof. I mean, when do we think the Dolphins are going to be the equal? Like what we think we may have in the AFC South if everybody's healthy. That Jacksonville, Houston, Indianapolis triangle seems pretty interesting. If the Chiefs are healthy this year, that AFC West triangle seems pretty interesting. When do we think the Dolphins and or the Jets turn the AFC East into a triangle?
Well, that would mean I would put I think it's safe money to say the Dolphins over the Jets, even though I think the Jets roster is a little better at this moment in time.
Okay.
If Malik Willis is that's what it takes. The Dolphin fan needs Malik Willis to be good. Because think about it. You got Josh Allen, David, that is the supreme quarterback in the division. Guess what? Drake May's next.
Right. Okay. You need either Malik Willis to take it to a level that he has not shown yet, or you need things to go so badly next year that they're in position to get their guy in next year's draft. So, but I mean, it's another reason why, like, I could argue Florida State's road to the playoff could be easier.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So you asked the question in the next 6 years, I'll put my money on Florida State over the Dolphins in terms of getting good again first, in terms of number of playoff appearances, the whole deal. I'll go Knowles. But a very serious question. And we could define good by, going 10-7 and making the playoffs. That doesn't count.
No.
That.
It's 10-7 can happen because, you could,
the
schedule could be tough. You could lose some close games. But when the playoffs start, then this is for either team. This is for a 9-3 Knowles team that squeaks in or a 10-7 Dolphins. When the playoffs start, can they win a couple games? That's a good team.
And I'll even go so far as to say, Mark, can they go on the road and win a playoff game?
Miami?
That's what I mean. When will the Dolphins get to the point?
Better hope they play at Jacksonville.
Well, but you know what I'm saying, that because if we think it could be a little while before they win the AFC East again, well, then they're only going to be a 5, 6, or 7 seed. They're going to have to go on the road. When do we think the Dolphins are going to be good enough that they can go on the road and win a playoff game? And we're giving Houston a lot of credit. Okay. Houston finally this year did something they hadn't done before. Houston went on the road and won a playoff game.
Well, and that's a good team to bring up because at least Miami would play in a dome there, maybe at the Chargers. I'm trying to think where they could be, somewhat comfortable playing. I don't anticipate Cleveland being good, but maybe on the road in Cleveland's new dome.
What's Mark figuring, man, this is really hard. A, I have to guesstimate when they're going to be good. B, when they're going to be good enough on the road. And C, well, I know they can't play anywhere where it's below 50. Damn.
Right.
So listen, I got to admit,
Football seasons. I broke you today with that question.
well,
didn't
here's what you're making me really laugh about. I'm just, fast forwarding 6 years. And let's just say that's when, I do hang it up, or you just say, you know, I appreciate everything. I can't do another day with you. You're driving me nuts. I'll get my daughter through college with somebody else. Okay, I understand. I would totally understand, by the way. I think we're good enough friends that we could each say to the other, I'd take a bullet for you, but I can't do another show with you. And I think we'd both laugh.
I
Okay.
do too, but at the same time, we only talk to each other for 4 hours a day. I think we could go on for a long. I'm confident we can go on for a long time.
I am too.
I believe that in my heart. I truly do.
I am too.
I
think
worry more about the Dolphins than I do Miller and Moulton.
I do too, Mark. A lot more.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, good question, Detherian. I would go Miami would get a Super Bowl before. Ooh, next playoff two and that both Guillermo Dretharian. Great questions, guys. That's the kind of snark I appreciate. Guillermo going a little political, which we always love, without really going political. That makes it even better. 2.5 presidents. Well, we're obviously going to have does the next guy win again? So I'm going to go under the 2.5 because either, the 28 or the 32 could do 2 terms theoretically. So I'll go under on that one. And Dretharian, I would go Super Bowl before Dolphins' next playoff win. But boy, guys, excellent questions. I can't tell you enough. Those are great questions, David.
They are.
Guillermo and Dretharian have there. I'm going under on the presidents because either the 28 or 32 could theoretically get reelected.
Oh, what was the question? I didn't
Number of U.S. presidents between now. Well, and if you count now, that's Trump, though. Okay. Wow. Now see, I'm still going under.
Well, you get 3 more seasons under Trump.
I got you. But you got a 28 president and you got a 32 president.
Until they what? Go to the playoffs? Win a game? What?
Next playoff win. It's right. Guillermo, number of U.S. presidents now the next Dolphins playoff win.
Yeah, mine isn't that big. Sorry.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Seth Everett will be on the show tomorrow. We'll go live, I think, to Aronimink, but we'll have somebody to talk golf tomorrow, the day before the PGA Championship gets underway.
I've never paid more attention to the PGA Tour than I am this year because I don't even want to say got roped. I got asked to be in a fantasy golf league.
Right.
I play golf with a bunch of old guys. They love the PGA Tour. And I was in a pick'em football league with these guys. So I won a week. I just kind of rolled the money over into the golf. And so you can pick every guy up to 5 times. And there are A guys, B guys, and C guys. And it changes because of signature events and whatever. So I'm paying attention. I started out strong. I have stunk recently. And mainly because my guys on Sunday stink. Cam Young picked you for the first time and you fall apart on Sunday. But I have paid attention. And I feel like I have no clue heading into the PGA. And I think it's been that kind of year because we had a bunch of guys early in the year leading after 54 and blowing tournaments. Scheffler's not won, but he's played well recently. Rory won the Masters. So Cam Young's playing really well. Like a guy like Ricky Fowler's been way above his skis.
All right. You could have Scotty. You could have Rory. You could have Cameron Young, or you could take the field.
I would take the field. It's the strongest field of any event.
It is.
And I think that's the way to go. That would be my pick.
Okay.
What would you do?
I think I'd take the big 3.
All right, it's a bet. $10 million or $10, whichever one you want.
Or whatever in our,
right,
little kitty there. The reason why I think I'd go big 3 is Scheffler's the defending champ. and I don't think he can keep getting off to these bad starts. Rory, obviously, his record recently, and these fairways are reportedly very wide. So even though he's not driving it as accurately as he has in past years, I think this course will also accommodate that. And Mark, right now, Cameron Young is playing as well as the other two.
He is.
It's one of the players won a signature event, was in position to win last week, at a horrible putting Sunday. Is hitting the ball great. I mean, really, since the Ryder Cup, Cameron Young has clearly been the third best player in the world. Clearly. So I think I would take the big three. But there are a lot of guys out there playing well. There are a lot of guys out there that are interesting. I think we felt more when the PGA was in August, the whole, hey, it's time for somebody to win their first major, and this was the major to pick. I think we thought more that way in August than in May. But, there are a bunch of guys out there that are due to win a major, including Cameron Young.
Cameron Young's the hottest guy. There's no doubt, David. I'm with you 100%.
So
Scheffler, I mean, those are the top three. Rahm's next, Schauffele fifth, Oberg sixth. He's not impressed me with what he's done. He'll probably go win now. Matt Fitzpatrick's played great recently.
And a major champion.
Fleetwood's played well recently.
He has, due to win a major. Hey, listen, and you and I were as open-minded to the LIV as just about anybody. But until I know that Tyrrell Hatton had a good Masters. But I'm sorry. It's prove it to Rahm and DeChambeau. I'm sorry. You guys have not been that good lately in the majors. It's on you. It's enough reputation. Okay? Go be there on Sunday, okay, boys? It's been a little while.
All right. Fun little bet for you, David. These guys are all 60-1. Fowler, Hovland, Robert McIntyre, Hatton. Who would you take? Not necessarily to win. Out of those four to win, I give you Fowler, Hovland, McIntyre, Hatton. Who has the best 4-day score?
McIntyre.
I might go Fowler. He's playing really well right now.
He is. He's very also streaky. I mean, he had 63, 65 last week in 2 of his 4 rounds.
I'm rooting for Hatton just because I enjoy the hell out of watching him. He's the guy. I mean, Rahm's boring. Look, and I know he's coming back to the tour, but Rahm's boring. There's nothing about watching John Rahm that's interesting. Bryson's interesting. He is. Whether you like him or not, he's a fun watch. Hatton's a fun watch. I want those two back on the tour. I do.
How about a Hatton McIntyre grouping? Because they both can throw clubs.
I like that. I like a good club toss. I'm going to give you one more here, a little off of golf, because we were on the whole Dolphins Knowles thing. Who's the next Florida team that wins the whole thing in the sports we care about? And college basketball isn't one of them. Football, college or pro, NBA, I'll even throw the NHL in there, and Major League Baseball. Which Florida team, and I'll include all the pro and college football, who wins a Natty, a Super Bowl, an NBA championship, a Stanley Cup, or a World Series first?
College football.
Is it the Gators or is it the Hurricanes?
Well,
you're going for
the sport.
No. You like that because you think there's two. I mean,
also, I don't think it takes long to Florida State to get their act together. I really don't. I don't think it will take long. It could turn around quickly. And let's just say, by the way, it's in 3 years. Do we think we're going to get a Super Bowl, Stanley Cup? I mean, Stanley Cup's the best odds. between the Panthers and the Lightning, but Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup, NBA champion in this state.
Well, I don't think I like the Heat are a mess right now. I know they could do some big things and try to. Couldn't they get Giannis and end up with LeBron and make a run? I don't know if that's even good enough to win a championship. That's the problem. That's the problem. Baseball. I don't put it on the Rays. The Marlins sure as hell aren't doing it. And sorry, when I mentioned the Heat, the Magic, this team's not good enough to win a championship.
Well, and now they don't have. I think hockey is the best shot. Panthers are old, by the way.
Yeah, but the next 2 years, they're going to be good.
They are.
Next year, they're a playoff team. And with a lot of rest, they should be ready to make a deep run again. They should.
Be very interesting if Bob is still their goalie. Because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And there's 2 or 3 teams who really need a goalie. So he's going to end up, unless he just desperately wants to stay in Florida and is willing to probably get a touch less, but make up for it.
State tax discount.
But there are a few teams out there that are contenders who need him as much or more than the Panthers. Just saying. This is a terrible free agent class in the NHL. Teams are going to overbid for the 15 guys who are good.
But I think college football, I would say Stanley Cup, then college football, and then flip a damn coin for the other 3. I know there's the most NFL teams, but do the Dolphins really count?
Trying to think, would I put a Super Bowl champion from Florida ahead of a World Series champion?
I would. That's close.
Plus, it's 3 versus 2. I got more chances at it, right?
Right. You got the Marlins and the Dolphins in that. Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Baby Jules, have you seen Justin Rose since he changed clubs? He's a mess.
I don't know. Probably not very good. 50-1. Put it this way: Justin Rose or Justin Thomas, both 50-1. I'd take Justin Thomas.
I would too, ever since Justin Rose changed clubs.
There's 4 guys at 50-1. I think Justin Rose could finish last. Morikawa, Rose, Minwoo Lee, and Justin Thomas. Koepka 40-1 with Cantlay.
Koepka could be interesting this week.
75-1 on Patrick Reed. Jacob Bridgman 150-1. He started out great. He's not been playing as well.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Final segment. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X on this Tuesday. Seth Everett tomorrow. We'll preview the PGA Championship once again tomorrow. We'll have more NFL scheduling news and notes. ABC getting the morning show announcement this morning. And the announcement was the Broncos and Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Week 1. Going to have to wait 2 more days to find out where. How stupid is that?
David, I want to bring up what Miles said in the chat room.
All right.
He was very nice. He didn't attack us. He just said, love the show, listen daily, but an NFL full-time already? Now, he might have caught us during the 8 o'clock hour where we did NFL for the whole hour. Because we've done more on the show today. Not much, be really honest. Not much. He said everyone does it. Baseball's playing 13 to 15 games daily. Not a whiff. No wonder the NFL rules. And he's not just talking about us, but he's talking all shows. And I get it. And my response to him was that I understand, but baseball's not really national. Tampa's great right now. We did talk the Rays to start the show. They have one star and good pitching. It's not really a sports talk show item. And we're not just in Tampa. If we were just in Tampa, we would probably focus on the Rays a hell of a lot more. But I don't know what the national baseball stories are other than how bad the Mets are. The Phillies have improved a little bit, but their awful start. Yeah, I don't know how many Dodger fans there are in this part of the world. I mean, I know, David, you could talk baseball every day for an hour. Every day.
Yeah.
But you've done this for a long time. You've done this longer than I have from a sports talk show standpoint. If you came at me with a baseball story, what would it be right now?
How come the American League is so mediocre? And I would try to go big picture and go, because I think it was last week sometime, we were just talking about, man, the American League is lousy. And I got a text from a buddy who said, so you mean to tell me the 300 plus major leaguers that are in the American League suck? Because that's what you're saying. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what I'm saying. But I think it would lead me to try to get into a bigger discussion with you about this is very interesting what's in the American League right now. Okay, because I don't know how much awful there is. But man, there's a lot of mediocre to below average.
There is.
I mean, everybody seems to be living 2 to 5 games below 500. I mean, Mark, I believe the Mets have the worst record in baseball. They're like 9 or 10 games below 500. I think the Mets are the worst team in baseball. Where last year at this time, the Rockies were horrendous. The White Sox were horrendous. I mean, it's seemingly recently we've had horrendous. And this year we just seems to have a lot of,
But there's no one in the Central that really spends money. The Tigers did, and Scooble's hurt. There's no one in the West that really spends money in the American League. The teams that spend the money are in the East. They're the Boston Red Sox, who stink, the Yankees, who are really good, and Toronto, who's not playing anywhere near where they're supposed to be playing. I mean, the money seems to be in the National League right now. That would be my argument, and I could get a segment out of it. And then after that, I'd be looking at you going, what do we talk about next?
well, that's true. I think at most, like if we did it top of the hour, I think people who listen now know our first segment's around 13 or so minutes and our second segment's 10. I mean, Mark, at most, I think we could carry it into the next segment. But you're right. By the bottom of the hour, we'd have to go to something else.
I mean, the big dumper's in a big slump.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Right. That's a minute.
Is it? I think I just finished it in 8 seconds.
Well, I think for over half our audience, you'd have to tell them who the big dumper is, but that's ba-dum-bum.
Well, it depends on how much coffee I have, but at the moment, it's Cal Raleigh.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Would you have to tell them who he plays for?
You shouldn't now because of last year's postseason.
Right.
A year ago, when I brought up the big dumper, and I did, I had to tell people who he played for.
Well, sure, because they thought it was a family relative.
Or someone they dated. We start today in 1960 on a television special hosted by one Frank Sinatra. He got what they call in the biz a good get. Elvis.
You're right.
Elvis did Witchcraft. Frank did Love Me Tender. I don't care if that were on today, I'd watch it. Dylan walks out of the Ed Sullivan Show today in 63 over a dispute about song choice. We had it last week while in Miami. Keith Richards, in his sleep, found the riff to satisfaction. It was today in 65 that they recorded Satisfaction. 1966, St. Louis opens Bush Memorial Stadium. The Cards would lose to the Braves in 12. One of the great debut albums of all time was released today in 1967. The Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are you experienced? Ernie Banks in 70 hit his 500th home run. The Stones released Exile on Main Street today in 1972. They recorded the album in France to avoid British taxes. Hence, Exile on Main Street. Today in 82, the USFL formed. 32 years ago today, Tarantino released Pulp Fiction. Still plays.
Yes, it does.
2017, Harry Styles left One Direction and released his self-titled debut solo album. He's kind of a big deal.
I know.
Couldn't name a song that he sings. Not one. Not for $1 million. I couldn't do it. I don't even know if you played one of his songs that I'd be able to tell you who it was. I've been trying with the daughter. When I pick her up, I have programmed hits 1 on my song. So I will flip to it, and if there's something she likes, we listen.
Okay.
And that pains me. I want everybody to understand how much pain that puts me through. I don't do pop music.
But she went through a rock phase. She was really enjoying your rock and roll.
No,
No,
never.
that's over with.
She never really did. She hates my music.
Damn.
She hates her mom's music. She doesn't like country. I've got that going for me, but I think I'd take some of the alt country over the pop. At least I get her to listen to Zach Bryan, maybe. He's a jerk, but the music's good. Florence Nightingale, Katharine Hepburn, Yogi Berra, Burt Bacharach, Tom Snyder, and George Carlin would have all celebrated birthdays today. Did you ever notice? No, I'm not going to go there. Felipe Alou is 91. Steve Winwood, 78. Billy Squire, 76. NBA coach George Karl, 75. Bernie Federko is 70. Lou Whitaker, 69. Dave Christian, 67. Emilio Estevez is 64. Tony Hawk, 58. I put this one in there for people of my age because you may not know the name Kim Fields. She's 57. She was Tootie on Facts of Life.
Right.
Yeah. Jim Furyk and Mike Weir are both 56. And Rami Malek, who was played in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie there, played
Freddie Mercury.
Played Freddie Mercury. He's 45. What did I miss, David?
The Lindbergh baby that was kidnapped. Remember, Mark leaves all the serial killers and the horrendous stories for me.
I had it. I saw it. And I'm like, I'm not adding this. If David wants to bring it up, he can bring it up.
Yep. The Lindbergh baby was found today, and the news was not good.
I'm not going to bring up the dead baby. I'll leave that for Moulton.
Yep. Happened in Jersey.
What didn't?
Stop it.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you got, Mark?
Although between the Lindbergh baby and the Hindenburg, Jersey did have a little run there in the 30s of death and destruction.
Right. With the Lindbergh baby, was that the original coffin corner? But what, too soon? Really?
No, it's not too soon. I just thought it was saved for Hoffa, but
the good, we go to the Philippines, where 4 passengers on a motorboat capsized. They were rescued because 12-year-old Cherry Ann Mateo swam for 2 hours to get to shore to get people to come rescue everybody on the boat. Did I say she was 12? Apparently they were fishing. They had their dried fish. They were going to sell their dried fish, David. For the bad, we go to Orange City, Florida, where police are investigating a burglary at University High School. According to video, Two unidentified white males jumped a fence near the gymnasium at 1 a.m. They went through door number 4. Apparently messed around with some bikes and some equipment before taking $50 worth of lanyards. Then the heist got big time. They stole 100 hot dogs and ice cream.
Whoa.
Additionally, they took an Allen wrench. What a break-in. Finally, the ugly, we go to Immokalee, where a 21-year-old man was arrested after an incident that began in the drive-thru at McDonald's. Apparently, the 21-year-old was stopped for a long time, and 2 women that were behind the pickup honked at it. Well, that was enough to piss him off. He chased them around, opened his window, and showed him his gun. They called police, and 21-year-old David Brizeras was arrested. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 12th, and it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, offering great pay, a signing bonus, other jobs available. For all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
Well, we got 2 hockey games tonight. The 4-letter network is the place to go. Did I say 4? I meant 2.
No,
Buffalo,
you said 2 in the 4-letter network. A lot of
gotcha. Okay. Buffalo at Montreal. Montreal leads 2-1. They've won the last 2 games 11-3. First crisis moment for the Sabres in these playoffs. I don't consider losing game 2 at home to Boston in a 1-1 series a crisis. They then won the next 2 and what have you. So I think it's the first time we find out a little something about these Sabres, who have had a hell of a run. They've had a 6-month run where not much has gone wrong. They're up against it tonight. Game 4 in Montreal, 7 Eastern.
For what it's worth, Montreal minus 135, Buffalo plus 115. If I were to bet it, I'd bet on the Canadiens.
Game 5 in Vegas. Anaheim and the Golden Knights. Vegas was here in the first round against Utah, game 5 at home. They won in overtime before winning that series in 6. 9:30 tonight, 4-letter network.
Vegas bigger favorites than the Canadiens, minus 150. You can get plus 130 on the Ugly Ducklings.
By the way, Marner having a really nice playoffs.
Boy, is he ever.
And so everybody they don't know whether to dump on him for not performing like this in Toronto, or they think, is this a Toronto issue? And just more garbage on the Leafs barge, quite frankly. Basketball tonight, 1 game. It's on NBC, 8 Eastern. Wemby's going to play, and the Spurs are big favorites. 10.5, the last number I saw. At home, game 5 against the T-Wolves with the series tied at 2. Here's the thing I'll say. The 2 games that have been close going to the fourth quarter, Anthony Edwards has taken over both times and won. Once in San Antonio. If I'm the Spurs, if I'm better, show it. Everybody playing in baseball tonight, all 15 games, teams. Rays in Toronto, Marlins in Minnesota. Your Tigers against my Mets tonight, Mark.
I mean, if it's time for the Tigers to turn it around, now is the time. Philly and Boston, someone's got to win. By the way, Cubs and Braves, too. I mean,
yeah,
entertaining baseball. Miles, there's some baseball talk for you. There's some entertaining baseball tonight.
We'll spend some time on it tomorrow, Miles. I promise.
Maybe.
Well, I promise. Mark doesn't. We'll fight it out before tomorrow's show.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton